Chapter 949. The defense line of the camp quickly collapsed. The suppression of numbers, especially the damage from guns against the crypt demons and wild boars, was too low. Even if they couldn't be damaged, the damage they brought would be fatal. After stabbing them in the back, Chen Zhao left. He wasn't interested in watching the crypt demons kill these soldiers. Chen Zhao switched roles. His real body returned to the hotel while his clone was cancelled. When Chen Zhao walked out of the hotel room, he saw Demi walk out of the opposite room. There was a band-aid on her forehead. She didn't hide her absent-mindedness at all. A smile appeared on Chen Zhao's face. "I'm going home. Do you want to send me off?" Demi looked at Chen Zhao coldly. "Oh, don't let your dad appear before me. Otherwise, I'll kill him." Demi couldn't control herself anymore. She lifted her leg and kicked Chen Zhao's face. Chen Zhao also swept his leg at Demi's chest. Demi slammed into the wall and spat out a mouthful of blood. Just then, the phone rang. It wasn't Chen Zhao but Demi. Demi took out her phone with difficulty and answered. Very soon, her expression became even worse. Chen Zhao could also hear Demi's voice. However, when he heard it, his expression became very unhappy. Paul wasn't dead. He was in the emergency room. Demi left, clutching her chest. Chen Zhao thought about it and decided to go to the hospital to see Paul. Realizing that Chen Zhao was following her, Demi stopped. "Why are you following me?" "Let's go to the hospital," Chen Zhao said nonchalantly. "You know what happened?" "Really?" "Ha." A smile appeared on Chen Zhao's face. "I don't know what you're talking about." Chen Zhao shrugged and walked past Demi. Demi could clearly feel that Chen Zhao knew something. He knew what was going on, and he might even have something to do with it. Chen Zhao and Demi arrived at the hospital one after the other. Demi's hateful gaze never left Chen Zhao. Outside the emergency room, Demi was even angrier. "What do you want to do to Lieutenant Paul?" "I don't plan to do anything. We're old acquaintances, after all. Can't I just visit him?" Just then, the door to the emergency room opened. Lieutenant Paul was pushed out. When Demi saw Lieutenant Paul, she became even more excited. Because one of Lieutenant Paul's legs and one of his arms were completely amputated. "Sir, how are you?" Chen Zhao walked up to Lieutenant Paul. Paul looked at him with a weak gaze. Why are you here?" Chen Zhao lowered his body and whispered into Paul's ear, "I'm here to tell you that you offended a monster expert. That's why you're in this situation." You. Lieutenant Paul's body suddenly arched up, and then began to spasm, vomiting blood in large mouthfuls. "It's me. I did it. You asked for it." Chen Zhao smiled. Doctor," Demi exclaimed. But when the doctor arrived, it was already too late. After a short and intense reaction, Lieutenant Paul's entire body lost its strength. Like a piece of rotten meat, his eyes completely lost their spirit. Demi looked at him. "What exactly did you say to the officer? What did you do?" "I was just greeting him as an old friend," Chen Zhao said indifferently. "Oh, you can't shirk your responsibility for his death either." Demi stared at Chen Zhao's back, her eyes filled with fury. Chen Zhao boarded the bus back. The distance between Las Vegas and Los Angeles was only 400 kilometers. It would take about 4 hours to get to Los Angeles by bus. On the bus, Chen Zhao's phone rang. It was Leong. He was probably here to ask for information. "Hey, Mr. Chen, do you know what happened near the desert relic in Las Vegas?" "Yes." "You weren't there." "I was chased away by the soldiers," Chen Zhao said. "Why? What did you do?" They promised me that if I caught a monster from the relic, they'd pay me $2 million, Chen Zhao said. But they broke their promise and chased me away. They even stole the prey that I worked so hard to catch. Leong had a feeling that things weren't so simple. However, he couldn't find any loopholes right now. Mr. Leong, you won't break your promise too, right? Of course not. I'll transfer the money to you immediately. Leong didn't want to fall out with Chen Zhao just for a few $100,000. The risk of falling out with Chen Zhao was too high. Also, when you introduce me to jobs next time, it'd be best if you recommend someone who's trustworthy, Chen Zhao said. Sir, where are you going? The ticket seller asked, walking over to Chen Zhao. This bus was similar to the ones in China. One was to buy tickets at the station or through a ticket seller. There weren't many ticket sellers in America anymore. The buses between L.A. and Las Vegas happened to be like this. Los Angeles, how much? $30. Chen Zhao took out $30 and gave it to the ticket seller. It was already 1 in the morning. There were very few people on the bus. The driver was a fat man with a big beard in his 50s. After getting on the bus, he checked the situation inside. Then he yelled and started driving. While driving, he ate a hamburger. If this was in China, they'd definitely be complained about. But this was basically the case for night buses. If they weren't allowed to eat, they'd complain to the bus company. The ticket seller sat beside Chen Zhao. Sir, where are you from? No, I mean your hometown, the ticket seller said. I can hear that your English has a bit of an accent. China, Chen Zhao answered. How about Las Vegas? It's too expensive, Chen Zhao said. Las Vegas and Los Angeles were both internationally renowned metropolises, but the way the two cities operated was completely different. Everything in L was cheap. At least, most of the expenses were normal. But in Las Vegas, everything was expensive. Las Vegas claimed that as long as you had money, you could live like an emperor. It was true. Las Vegas gave Chen Zhao a feeling of splendor. Rich people could really do whatever they wanted in this city, but if they didn't have money, they'd be miserable. Chen Zhao had never been interested in gambling, but Las Vegas was truly a gambling city. Chapter 950. Just then, the bus stopped. A couple boarded the bus. This kind of bus would stop as soon as it stopped. The ticket seller beside Chen Zhao stood up and sold the tickets to the couple. After buying the tickets, the couple sat in the last row. However, even Chen Zhao and the ticket seller, who were sitting in the front row, could still hear their flirting and laughter. After an hour, another woman boarded the bus. Hey, Chinese, what's your impression of America? The driver asked. Even the driver would get bored in the long night, so he took the initiative to talk to Chen Zhao. It wasn't convenient for him to turn his head, but it didn't affect their conversation. It's a strange country. Why do you say it's strange? Theoretically, America is the most developed and powerful country, but it's full of chaos. Chaos? You mean America is chaotic? I come from a rather poor village in China, Chen Zhao said. Then I went to study and work in the big cities. No matter if it's a developed or underdeveloped place, life is very peaceful. In the past 25 years, I've never seen a shooting. But in America, I've seen at least 5 shootings in the past year. The first was on my 3rd day here. Fine, the driver said in a mocking tone. I apologize on behalf of my country for letting you see the bad side of America. America is a strange country. It's such a developed country, but it's filled with so much violence. So, I think we should find a Chinese to be the president, the driver said. Most Americans don't have a good impression of politicians. Most of the time, they talk about politics with a sense of entertainment. Chen Zhao, the driver, and the ticket seller chatted happily. Chen Zhao also told them some good and bad things about China. Just then, the bus stopped again, and 4 big guys got on. 2 of them carried a large backpack. By now, they were already halfway through the journey. Chen Zhao was curious as to why these men would appear in such a desolate place. After the 4 of them got into the car, they sat in the back row silently. "Oh, do you know the legend of this road?" "The legend of this road? This is Route 666. The driver said. The construction of this road started in 1966 and was completed in 1972. It lasted for 6 years. On the first day of the road's opening, there was a major accident. The death toll was 13 people. Adding the number of people who died during the construction of the road, it was exactly 66 people, the driver said. In Western countries, 6 and 13 are very unlucky numbers. 6 represented the devil, and 13 represented Satan. In Hollywood films, 6 and 13 were often used as symbols of the devil and evil in various horror movies. After that, there were often cases of cars disappearing on this road. "That's why this road is also known as the road to hell," the driver said in a horrifying tone. However, Chen Zhao could tell that the driver was purposely creating this atmosphere for entertainment. "Let me tell you my friend's story. My friend is an explorer. He once explored an ancient relic with his team." "Wait, shouldn't he be an archaeologist? Why are you called explorers?" "I don't know," Chen Zhao said. "That's not the point." 20 minutes later, the driver said, "You said that if the queen of the crypt demons dies, a male will be chosen and turned into a female." "Yes." Just then, a woman's voice sounded from behind Chen Zhao. "This is the honeycomb model. In fact, most of the queen and the worker bees are the same species. When the worker bees are still larvae, they will select at least one larva to live in the queen bee station. Then, the larva will evolve into a queen bee in the queen bee station. Most of the time, there will only be one queen bee in a colony. Except when the old and the new are replaced, there may be 2 queens. However, if the queen bee is accidentally lost, then the colony will let another mature queen bee mutate in a very short time." Chen Zhao turned his head and saw a woman with messy hair and thick glasses. Feeling Chen Zhao's gaze, the woman grinned, revealing her braces. Chen Zhao had a slight preference for appearances. This woman looked like a nerd. She almost didn't care about her appearance and was dressed rather old-fashioned. She wore an old green jacket and a colorful t-shirt. "Hi, I'm Willian." "I'm Chen Zhao." Chen Zhao shook hands with Willian. Willian pushed up his glasses. "From your description, you don't seem to be telling a story. Your description of the crypt demons is very complete. Language, habits, appearance, it's like you're talking about a real race that's close to humans." "Then don't treat it as a story," Chen Zhao said, smiling. "Are you a biology major?" "Yes, I'm a biology instructor at the University of California, San Diego. I mainly study reptile and primate genetics." "Looks like we're colleagues," Chen Zhao said, smiling. The University of California, San Diego is not the same school as the University of San Diego. People who don't know might confuse the two. UCSD was a university in the California University Alliance. Both were members of the alliance, so it made sense that Chen Zhao said they were colleagues. UCSD was a Catholic university and belonged to the Catholic Church. In the world rankings of famous universities, the University of California, San Diego ranked far above the University of San Diego. From this, one could see how powerful the California University Alliance was. The academics and most resources of the 10 schools were shared. "You are?" "I'm a tutor at UCSD's medical department." "Hi." Willian quickly reached out to shake Chen Zhao's hand. She was a very shy girl, even though she was probably 26 or 27 years old. But what greeted him was a sense of immaturity. Chen Zhao wondered if Willian was a virgin. Of course, he probably had to add the word old in front. "Hey, buddy, how long until we get to LA?" a voice came from the back. It was one of the 4 people who'd gotten in last. "About 2 hours, the driver replied. "The fog seems to be getting thicker." "That's weird. There's still some distance from the coastline. Why is it so foggy?" Chapter 951. Chen Zhao glanced out the window. They'd passed the road sign. Highway 666. They were still 20 kilometers away from Basto. Chen Zhao frowned. They seemed to have passed this road just now. Whatever. Maybe it was an illusion. Just then, the bus entered the tunnel. Chen Zhao touched his chin. It wasn't an illusion. Just then, the driver said, "Barbara, did you notice that we've already passed this tunnel? Are you secretly drinking?" Barbilla asked. "No, I've been sober for a week." "Then drive properly. Don't be so paranoid." But half an hour later, they passed this tunnel again. Chen Zhao clearly remembered the road sign and the tunnel. "Fuck, we really passed here." "Barbara, look, this is the 3rd time." Barbara looked out the window. "That's weird. There's only one tunnel from Las Vegas to Los Angeles." She also remembered that they'd passed this tunnel once. "Horst, did you drive the wrong way?" "Don't joke around," Horst said. "I've been driving this road for 30 years. How can I drive the wrong way?" Suddenly, the bus shone on a car parked in the middle of the road. "Damn, fuck." Horst yelled and hurriedly stepped on the brakes. Honk. Horst honked continuously, but the car in front didn't move. It was still there, not moving at all. There doesn't seem to be anyone in the car in front. Will.i.on looked out the window. There really doesn't seem to be anyone. "Let's go down and see," Barbara said. Horst got out of the car unwillingly. Chen Zhao followed. "Why are you coming down?" "I'm seeing if there's anything I can help with," Chen Zhao said. This was clearly a mirror space. He'd encountered the same situation when he'd dealt with the mirror demon. Chen Zhao remembered very clearly that they'd passed this tunnel twice. "Okay." Horst walked to the car and looked at it. This kind of car is still on the road. Chen Zhao and Horst realized that the car was an old car from the 60s or 70s. It also looked really old. Much of the paint had fallen off and the car was covered in dust. There was also a hole in the window. Horst frowned and said, "Who would leave such an old car on the road?" "There's no one in the car," Chen Zhao said, looking inside. "Damn it. Which bastard did this?" Horst cursed. "Damn it." Back on the bus, Barbara asked, "How was it?" "There's no one in the car." The tunnel was not big, and the classic car was parked in the middle of the road. They had no way to get through. "Which one of you wants to come down and help push that car to the side of the road?" Horst asked. "Hey, those big guys over there, I'm talking to you. Come down and help." The 4 men were not very willing. They exchanged glances with each other, seemingly hesitant. At this moment, the first woman who got on the bus earlier spoke. "We have now entered the true hell highway." Everyone looked at the woman, and Horst said, "Miss, stop joking. It's getting late." "Look at the clock," the woman said. Everyone looked at the clock hanging in front of the tour bus. "Is this clock broken? Where did it say 66 minutes? You can check your watch or mobile phone." Chen Zhao took it out and saw that the time was 3. 66. My phone also shows 3. 66. Fuck, what's going on? Why is there a 66 on my watch after 12 o'clock? What's going on? We've entered Hell's Highway, the woman repeated. Just then, the woman walked over. Who are you? Horst asked. I'm a witch. The woman glanced at Horst. I was hired by my employer to investigate a missing person case. His wife drove on this road and then disappeared. Wait. You're that late-night woman. Barbara looked at the woman in surprise. What late-night woman? Chen Zhao asked curiously. It said that every night on this road, a woman in black takes a bus from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, and then from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, Barbara said. However, only the bus driver has the opportunity to discuss this matter. That's right. I've been taking the bus back and forth on this road for 3 years now. I'm looking for a way to enter Hell Highway. Finally, after 3 years, I've finally entered. Not only was the woman not afraid, but she was also excited. Crazy. The 4 men walked to the door. Hurry up and move the bus in front. Let's go to Los Angeles. So troublesome. The 4 clearly didn't believe the woman. But just then, there was a loud bang on the roof. Then, a dent appeared on the roof. It looked like a monster's claw. Everyone hugged their heads and squatted on the ground in fear. Then there was another bang. Another dent appeared on the roof. Bang! The windows in the bus exploded at the same time. Get off! Horst yelled and was the first to rush out. The others followed closely behind Horst. After everyone got off, they realized that there was nothing on the roof. What's going on? What's going on? Demon, demon! Someone screamed in terror. But just then, the man's body suddenly flew up. No, he didn't fly up. Instead, he was grabbed by an invisible thing. Help! Help! The man screamed and struggled in the air. But in the next moment, that person's skull was split open, and his brain matter exploded. The body was thrown before everyone. At this moment, everyone believed the woman's words. They had really entered Hell Highway. There was really something terrifying here. Chen Zhao frowned because he couldn't see anything. How could he deal with an invisible enemy? But the woman acted first. She sprinkled a handful of magic phosphorescence in the air. The phosphorescence exploded instantly and a ball of fire ignited in the air. Then, they saw a huge, flaming bird shriek as it fell to the ground. What's that? Hidden Ripper bird. I heard that they can turn invisible naturally and are most afraid of fire, the woman said. Everyone couldn't help but lean toward the woman. Chapter 952. Here's my name card. The woman gave everyone a name card. If you can get out of here alive, you can come find me if you have similar supernatural incidents in the future. Shea Bacola, Exorcism Company. Chen Zhao glanced at the woman. At first glance, she did seem like the case. It was just like the first time he'd met Sienna. How much? Chen Zhao asked. Exorcism is based on the number of evil spirits. If it's a big incident like this, the fee is very high. It starts at $500,000. How much if I have to be safe? Chen Zhao asked. Shea Bacola looked at Chen Zhao. You're a university professor, right? Can you afford it? I'm rich, Chen Zhao said. 50,000, Shea Bacola said. But you have to listen to me and don't walk around. What do we do now? Horst asked. It wasn't just him. Everyone was panicking. Should we just stay here and wait for the fog to disperse? Let's call the police. Time has stopped here. This isn't the human world, so your signal can't be sent out, Shea-Bacola said. We can only leave after we kill the owner. Before we kill the owner, should we kill those things over there? Chen Zhao pointed at the exit of the tunnel. A group of things was swaying toward them. When they saw those things, everyone's expression changed. Is this Resident Evil? These things look so weak. Chen Zhao picked up a brick from the ground and smashed it at one of the zombies. Look, I seriously doubt the logic of Resident Evil. If it really happens in the real world, even a normal person can kill dozens of them, let alone an army. Everyone was speechless at Chen Zhao's fearlessness. If these things can cause the end of the world, I think humans should just kill themselves first. Horse took a metal rod from the car and smashed the zombies' heads. Really? These zombies look so weak. Chen Zhao and Horst smashed the dozens of zombies to the ground. Horst was so tired that he panted. Holding his legs, he looked at Chen Zhao. Aren't you tired? Your cholesterol is too high, Chen Zhao said. You should cut down on alcohol and high-protein foods. It can help you live a few more years. The group walked out of the tunnel. It was foggy outside, and visibility was less than 10 meters. But at that moment, a hole suddenly appeared in the fog. Seeing this, Chen Zhao yelled, "Get down!" Chen Zhao first pulled Willian to the ground, but some people were still lifted into the air before they could react. Another concealment-splitting bird attacked. This kind of concealment-splitting bird couldn't be seen and was the hardest to defend against. The man was dragged away and disappeared into the fog. Everything happened so fast that no one had time to react. The team, which had been relaxed just a moment ago, was now once again in a state of tension. Everyone continued to walk forward. Suddenly, Shea-Bacola's footsteps paused. Everyone followed suit. A large number of octopuses appeared on the road ahead. The bodies of these octopuses were slippery, so they didn't crawl very fast. They weren't big either. Land was obviously not their main battlefield. Shea-Bacola took a step forward and chanted a magic spell. Then everyone saw a bolt of electricity shoot out from Shea-Bacola's feet and surge toward the octopuses ahead. Chen Zhao looked at Shea-Bacola. So she was an elemental witch. She should be good at lightning magic. Elemental witches belonged to their own system, so they couldn't learn magic from other systems. Systems like psychic, prophecy, and voodoo could be learned from each other. However, elemental witches were more aggressive than other systems. The octopuses were quickly cooked. Chen Zhao walked forward, picked up an octopus, and took a bite. It tastes pretty good. Everyone was speechless at Chen Zhao. This guy wasn't just daring. These octopuses were clearly not the same as what they usually ate. He actually dared to stuff anything into his mouth. It tastes really good. You really don't want some? Chen Zhao asked. Horst was a bit tempted. These things come from hell, Shea-Bacola said. It's best not to eat them. No one knows what will happen to you. Shea-Bacola looked at Chen Zhao. I told you, if you want to live, you better listen to me. You didn't say I couldn't eat them, Chen Zhao said. Shea-Bacola was even more speechless. Who knew that Chen Zhao would be so daring? Stuffing something of unknown origin into his mouth. After a few bites, Chen Zhao could basically confirm that it was edible and tasted good. But just then, more octopuses appeared on the road. Chen Zhao immediately took a few steps back. More octopuses. The four burly men, who had been silent all this while, actually took out guns and knives from their satchels. Chen Zhao glanced at them and realized that there were many weapons in their bags. What are you looking at, yellow monkey? Do you want to die? One of the men noticed Chen Zhao's gaze and immediately shouted rudely. Chen Zhao looked at the man. You'll die here. What did you say? The man immediately pointed his gun at Chen Zhao. But Chen Zhao was faster. He broke the man's wrist with one hand. Bang! The muzzle pierced through the man's chin and his entire head exploded. Ah! The others all screamed and retreated. Chen Zhao pushed the corpse over. The other 3 men looked at him and all pointed their weapons at him. No one would have thought that Chen Zhao, who'd been livening up the atmosphere, would have such a cruel side. I'll count to 3. Whoever dares to point a gun at me, I'll send him straight to Satan. Stop, all of you. If you don't want to die, you better stop fighting among yourselves, Shay Bakola yelled. Look at the situation. Chen Zhao shrugged. The 3 men also put down their guns, but they looked at Chen Zhao with some malice in their eyes. Clearly, the conflict just now had made them enemies with Chen Zhao. After all, one of them had died, so they couldn't coexist peacefully. But just as Shay Bakola had said, it wasn't the time for internal strife. Also, from Chen Zhao's reaction, he wasn't a good person either. Mr. Chen, are you really a university professor? Willian looked at Chen Zhao suspiciously. After all, Chen Zhao's reaction and counterattack ability didn't seem like something a scholar should have. Also, after killing someone, Chen Zhao looked relaxed and didn't feel guilty at all. She couldn't help but suspect Chen Zhao's true identity. Chapter 953. You've killed people before? Willian asked. Why do you think so? Chen Zhao asked, turning his head. A normal person wouldn't be so calm after killing someone. Should I be like this? Chen Zhao suddenly covered his hands. Ah, I killed someone. What do I do? I killed someone. Everyone watched Chen Zhao's antics, speechless. Chen Zhao didn't seem to be afraid of his environment at all. From start to finish, Chen Zhao had been so calm. When he saw zombies, he was the first to smash them with a brick. When he saw the octopuses, he was the only one who dared to pick them up and eat them. Chen Zhao took out a backpack out of nowhere and started stuffing the grilled octopuses into it. Everyone was speechless at Chen Zhao's actions. Except for the 3 burly men. They all looked at Chen Zhao with murderous intent. Chen Zhao filled his backpack with grilled octopuses and ate them as he walked. Too bad there's no cumin. Chen Zhao glanced at Willian beside him. You don't want some? Nope. The octopuses didn't look appetizing at all. Especially in this kind of environment, it made Villian feel that nothing here was safe. In the next hour, there were no more attacks. However, they became more and more uneasy, because some people in the group couldn't walk anymore. Sir, don't you want some octopuses? Chen Zhao went to the person. No, I definitely won't accept demon food. The person was very nervous. Because he'd been walking for an hour, he was in a bad state. When people were nervous, they would use up a lot of energy. Adrenaline would increase secretion. Adrenaline was a stimulant produced by the human body. What did it feel like to take stimulants? In the beginning, you'd be extremely excited, but then you'd feel weak and powerless. Adrenaline wouldn't be secreted all the time. When the adrenaline was used up, people would feel extremely tired. Many of them were like this. Okay, what a pity. Returning to Willian's side, Willian saw that Chen Zhao kept eating. It didn't seem to be a problem. Willian finally couldn't help but ask, Mr. Chen, give me some too. Not so much. Give me a tentacle. It's really delicious, Willian couldn't help but exclaim. You have accepted the demon's food, and your souls will also fall. Said the man who rejected Chen Zhao earlier. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. If she didn't want to eat, then so be it. Have you seen a movie called Mist? Chen Zhao glanced at the person beside him. Everyone stopped talking. Most of them had probably seen the movie before and knew what Chen Zhao meant. Religion leads people to do good, but it can also make some extreme people crazy. You will be punished by God, especially you. You degenerate witch, you were born to be unclean. Shea Bacola glanced at him. If you think I'm impure, why are you with me? You can leave on your own. What's that in front? Horst suddenly pointed ahead. In the fog, there seemed to be a huge silhouette. A castle. Everyone's faces were filled with amazement. Everyone stopped in their tracks and looked at Shea Bacola. Kacha, the sound of Chen Zhao chewing on the tentacle was especially loud in the silence. Everyone looked at Chen Zhao in annoyance. Why are you looking at me? The castle gave off a strange aura and an oppressive feeling. It was so oppressive that everyone couldn't breathe. Everyone stopped in their tracks. They saw two huge octopuses moving toward them. The two octopuses had different skin colors. One was dark red, while the other was completely black. They weighed about 2 tons and their tentacles were 5 to 6 meters long. They were also covered in metal armor and their tentacles were wrapped around large weapons. Everyone was so nervous that they couldn't breathe. Shea Bacola was also ready for battle. The 3 gun-wielding men were the first to attack. They each threw a grenade. The dark red octopus stretched out its tentacles and caught the grenade. Boom! The grenade blasted one of the octopus tentacles into pieces. This infuriated the 2 octopuses. Thud, 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 the 3 had powerful firepower. They had grenades, machine guns, and shotguns. The 2 octopuses were actually no match for the 3. Boom, 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 in the end, the 2 octopuses were completely smashed into pieces. Their bodies were riddled with holes and their limbs were blown away. Looks like it's up to the 3 of us in the end, one of them said proudly. These demons are only so-so. They were very proud of their performance. The last one even said, "Witch, we don't need you at all." Shea Bacola glanced at the 3 but didn't speak. But just then, there was a rumbling sound in front of them. Everyone looked in the direction of the sound. 3 monsters passed through the mist and appeared before them. They had big heads, short legs, and thick arms. They were also holding a shield and an axe. One of the monsters charged at them. Chen Zhao pulled Willian and jumped to the side, avoiding the monster's charge. The 3 wanted to use the same method to deal with the monsters, but both bombs and machine gun bullets were blocked by the monsters' shields. A giant monster charged in front of the 3 of them, swinging its axe horizontally. One of them didn't dodge and was split in half. The other 2 reacted quickly and lay on the ground to avoid the attack. But when the monster lifted its foot and was about to step on the 2 on the ground, suddenly, a lightning whip shot from behind and wrapped around the monster's neck. Shea Bacola didn't watch them die. He still acted at the most dangerous moment. Shea Bacola pulled the other end of the lightning whip with force. The whip sank into the flesh of the monster's neck. Then he pulled back and the monster's neck was cut open. After Shea Bacola dealt with the first troll, he quickly attacked the second troll. Before the second troll could reach Shea Bacola, the lightning whip in Bacola's hand swept out and coiled around the troll's thigh. Then it was the same result. The lightning whip cut off the troll's thigh. The monster fell to the ground and instantly lost the ability to fight, but it wasn't dead yet. Chen Zhao immediately went forward and picked up a gun from the ground. He fired at the monster's head. Chapter 954. No one felt that Chen Zhao deserved the credit. Chen Zhao didn't care about everyone's gazes at all. After Shea Bacola finished off the last monster, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Coward. The religious zealot looked at Chen Zhao with disdain in his eyes. Didn't you say that Shea and I are both fallen? If you have the guts, you can take it or get out of the team. Chen Zhao looked down on him even more. This team doesn't belong to you, the zealot said. There are more kind souls here. Unfortunately, no one responded. Everyone felt that the person was a bit crazy. God will protect me. Fallen like you will only be dragged to hell by demons. Then go find the God in your heart to protect you. Chen Zhao pursed his lips. Shut up, all of you, Shea Bacola scolded coldly. I'll pay you $100,000 to get rid of this crazy guy and these two guys with bad guys written on their faces. How about that? Shea Bacola rolled her eyes at Chen Zhao. You're the one I should get rid of the most. You're the biggest unstable factor in the team. But they messed with me first, Chen Zhao said, feeling wronged. Shea Bacola glared at Chen Zhao. Her eyes were also filled with impatience. It seemed that all the conflicts in the team were related to this guy. Take out the food and give it to everyone, Shea Bacola ordered. Chen Zhao gave everyone some. As for the crazy guy and the two guys with guns, Chen Zhao just ignored them. What about us? The two were already very dissatisfied with Chen Zhao. You wanted to cut the crap. Give it. Chen Zhao gave them the middle finger. The two were about to use their guns again. Shea Bacola didn't want another conflict in the team. Give it to them, she ordered. No more, Chen Zhao said as he opened his backpack. It was empty. The two were both tired and hungry. Looking around, they were about to snatch William's grilled octopus. Chen Zhao pulled Will-Ion to stand beside him. This woman is useless here, the two said. It's a waste to give her food. Chen Zhao attacked without any warning. With a punch and a kick, he beat the two to the ground. Then, he snatched their backpacks and weapons. There were still a lot of weapons in their backpacks. Then, he stepped on their thighs, and everyone heard a cracking sound. Look, there's no point for the two of you to stay here. There's no need to waste food on you. Goodbye. You can't do this to us. You bastard, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. The two men clutched their thighs and howled in pain. Shea looked at Chen Zhao. She realized that she had underestimated Chen Zhao. The first time Chen Zhao attacked, it was only self-defense. But this time, it was a completely proactive attack. Although he didn't directly kill the two of them. But he broke their legs and took away their weapons. If they were abandoned here, they would almost certainly die. After all, no one in the team could carry them. Everyone was very tired and did not have the energy to carry them forward. Smiling, Chen Zhao squatted down before them. See, you asked for it. I hope you can meet a monster that is gentle to you. Don't go. You can't do this to me, please, please save us. Now, they were finally afraid. They realized the severity of the problem. Let's go, Chen Zhao said. The master of this place should be in that castle. Shea Bacola looked at Chen Zhao, his eyes filled with caution. But now that Chen Zhao had weapons and ammunition, it wasn't the time to fall out with him. The team advanced in the direction of the castle. The castle seemed close, but they had been walking for at least 2 hours and there were still no signs of them getting closer. We can't go any further, we can't go any further. The demon is luring us into hell. It was that crazy believer again. At this time, everyone was exhausted. Everyone stopped and looked at the crazy believer. You fallen witch, the crazy believer said, pointing at Shea. You want to sacrifice us to the demon. A few people were already on the verge of collapse. Now, they started to waver too. Shay ignored them. Instead, she looked at everyone coldly. If some of you don't want to follow, I don't care. If you want to, then come. You can't go. If you go, who will protect us? Another woman walked up and blocked Shay's path. He didn't want to continue, but he also didn't want Shay to leave. What does your life and death have to do with me? Shay sneered. Well said. Chen Zhao acted like a lackey. Ms. Shay, I support you. I don't need your support. Let's go. Shay's expression was cold. Chen Zhao walked to Horst and Barbara. You'll only die faster if you stay here. In the end, the two of them decided to follow behind Shay Bacola. At least, Shay's performance just now proved that she indeed had the ability. Ignore them. They're just walking toward the abyss. I believe that God will protect you. You're all God's lambs. The group that continued forward suddenly lost half of its members. Only Chen Zhao, Shay Bacola, Willian, Horst, and Barbara were left. Are you still hungry? I have food here. Fuck, didn't you say you don't have any more? When did I say I don't have any more? Everyone looked at Chen Zhao, speechless. Shay Bacola was also curious about where Chen Zhao had hidden the food. The group took some more food from Chen Zhao. We seem to be much closer. It shouldn't take long for us to get there. I wonder how those people are, Willian said. Don't worry about them. Their God will protect them, Chen Zhao said nonchalantly. Finally, after another half an hour, the five of them arrived in front of the castle. Chen Zhao took out his phone and took a picture of the castle. What are you doing? Are you trying to lure those demons out? Shay Bacola scolded. Maybe they knew we were coming. Maybe they wanted us to come here, Chen Zhao said. Or maybe it's a trap. If you think it's a trap, why did you follow? Chapter 955. Chen Zhao went up and pushed the castle door. It creaked. Everyone looked at Chen Zhao. Shay Bacola was a bit surprised. You can even push such a big door. It's not as heavy as you think, Chen Zhao said. Horst also went up to try. But why can't I push it? Push to the end. The inside of the gate was empty. There was nothing. Everyone looked at each other and Shay Bacola took the lead and walked inside. When they arrived at the castle, there was another door. Horst went up to push, but it didn't budge at all. This door seems to be locked. I can't push it at all. Let me try. Chen Zhao went up to push. Crack, the door was pushed open. Horst looked at Chen Zhao. What kind of weird power do you have? You're too weak, Chen Zhao said. Noises came from the front, and everyone looked at Shay Bacola again. Let's go in and take a look. Shay Bacola led everyone into a narrow and dark tunnel. Just then, the door behind them suddenly closed. Nails bounced out from the back of the door and pressed down on them. Run forward. Everyone ran forward frantically. They ran until they reached a huge and empty field. This was a huge coliseum, and the surroundings of the coliseum were empty. There was only a huge octopus sitting on the main seat. The octopus's lower body was its tentacles. Its 8 tentacles were fully spread out and were more than 30 meters long. Its upper body was human, but of course, it was much bigger than humans. Look, more guests are here. The octopus looked down at the 5 people. That thing is the big boss here, right? Chen Zhao said. Shay Bacola, kill it. Shay's expression was serious. The octopus was much scarier than he'd imagined. His body exuded an aura that made people fear him. Don't worry, the octopus said, looking at Chen Zhao's group. I'll arrange for people to receive you. The octopus hooked its tentacles and the metal fence at the edge of the Colosseum was pulled up. 5 monsters rushed out from inside. Each of the 5 monsters had a human face embedded in their chests. Twisted monster. Shea Bacola said. Among the 5 faces, one belonged to the religious maniac. The other 2 were the burly men whose legs had been crushed by Qinzhao. The other 2 were the followers of the religious maniac. I want to purify you. I want to purify all of you. Haha, no one can stop me. The religious madman was even crazier than before, and the giant monster's body was also under his control. Kill you, yellow monkey, I will kill you. The Kraken looked at the Colosseum. Are you surprised? Old friends have finally met. This is the welcome ceremony I prepared for you. All of you, step back. Shea Bacola's expression was solemn. The 5 twisted monsters charged towards the 5 of them at the same time. Shea Bacola roared, and a slender lightning whip stretched out and wrapped around the religious madman's head. She wanted to deal with the twisting troll the same way she dealt with the trolls. However, the lightning whip was unable to sever the twisting monster's neck. Ha! It's useless. They're different from the normal monsters. They have greater strength and magic resistance. Shea Bacola immediately put away the lightning whip, but the lightning in her hand grew brighter and brighter. Zeus Fury. A pillar of lightning gathered in Shea Bacola's hand and shot at the twisted monster. Buzz, buzz, the lightning pierced through the twisted monster's neck. The religious madman embedded in its chest roared, "No, no, no. I haven't carried out God's will yet." But his voice came to an abrupt halt, and his enormous body collapsed with a loud rumble. So beautiful. Qinzhao clapped and cheered. Everyone turned around to look at Qinzhao. They saw him sitting beside the Colosseum as if there was no one else around. There was grilled octopus and beer beside him. Do you guys want some? Fuck, you have beer. Horst exclaimed. Shea Bacola, be careful. Qinzhao suddenly warned. Shea Bacola jumped to the side. She quickly gathered her thoughts and continued to fight. One of the twisted monsters went around Shea Bacola and pounced at Qinzhao. Mr. Chen, run. Qinzhao raised his gun and fired at the twisted monster. Qinzhao's shooting skills were terrible, but the twisted monster was so huge. He wouldn't miss even if he closed his eyes. However, the twisted monster was unharmed under the rain of bullets. Yellow monkey, you have nowhere to run now, right? The man embedded in the twisted monster's chest grinned at Qinzhao. What about this? Qinzhao took out a grenade. I really have to thank you for giving me a gun and a bomb. Watch out. Boom, 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 a huge arm fell before Qinzhao. It had been broken by the grenade Qinzhao had thrown. Ah! Ah! I'm going to tear you apart, tear you apart. The man roared. But a grenade landed before him. Boom! With another loud bang, the twisted monster he was controlling collapsed. Regardless of whether it was killing the man embedded in the chest or directly destroying the twisted monster's vitals, he could kill them all. Will Ion, Barbilla, and Horst all stared at Qinzhao in shock. Even in this situation, Qinzhao still remained calm. No, he hadn't been afraid from the start. Big octopus up there, come. Let me kill you and turn you into Shumaki. Everyone was speechless. Qinzhao had clearly lost his composure. By then, Shea Bacola had also finished off the other 3 twisted monsters. However, this battle had consumed too much of her magic power. Would you like to have a shumai? Shea Bacola couldn't be bothered to be angry with Qinzhao. She indeed needed to replenish her energy. Do you think it's over? The octopus shrieked. Stop! Chen Zhao shouted. Intermission. Stupid human, this isn't the arena. Suddenly, Chen Zhao heard a whistling sound, but he couldn't see anything. Immediately, Chen Zhao's body was lifted up by an invisible thing. Hidden splitting bird. Seeing that he was being lifted higher and higher, Chen Zhao started to fight back. He reached out and grabbed the air above his head. From the feel of it, the hidden slithering bird that was grabbing him seemed to be larger than the one from before. Chen Zhao grabbed hard and broke the bird's claw. The bird shrieked and wanted to let go of Chen Zhao, but Chen Zhao held on tightly and climbed onto the bird's body. He couldn't see, but he knew that he couldn't let go now. After all, he was already hundreds of meters high. Chen Zhao wasn't sure if he would die if he fell. The hidden splitting bird's body was rather soft. It should be a good cushion. Chen Zhao grabbed the bird's neck and gave it a bear hug. Chapter 956. Just when everyone thought that Chen Zhao was dead for sure, Chen Zhao fell from the sky. Chen Zhao descended from the sky, but the hidden slither bird's corpse fell with him. The hidden rending bird's carcass served as a good cushion. However, because the hidden slithering bird's corpse was invisible, everyone only saw Chen Zhao fall in the air. Shea Barcola was shocked. He'd been caught hundreds of meters in the air and still couldn't kill this guy. Chen Zhao returned to the ground unscathed. Octopus, I told you to take a break. Why didn't you understand? Seems like I've underestimated you, the octopus said. You can actually kill a female bird. Then let more hidden slithering birds come. I want to know how you'll deal with them. Everyone heard more flapping sounds of wings. Chen Zhao suddenly threw the grenade he'd prepared into the air. There was a huge explosion. Hidden slithering birds were ignited one after another and fell from the sky. The air was filled with the smell of roasted meat. Chen Zhao ran to a hidden slithering bird. Ignoring the flames, he tore off a piece of meat and put it in his mouth. Wow! It tastes good. Come and try. It's really delicious. Everyone was speechless. They'd never seen someone like Chen Zhao. Faced with this situation, Chen Zhao's first thought was food. Moreover, he dared to stuff anything into his mouth. Aren't you afraid of getting a stomachache? Shea Barcola asked. Really? No way. My digestive ability is pretty good. Chen Zhao grinned. It's really delicious. Are you sure you don't want to try? The others weren't as brave as Chen Zhao. The hidden slithering birds were burnt into pitch-black pieces of meat. They were completely roasted. They were very afraid of fire. Just a little bit of fire could completely ignite them. Chen Zhao made a shooting gesture at the octopus in the audience. Baiyu. Octopus, are you ready? Are these your last words? The octopus started moving down. Are you ready? Welcome the end. Oh. Do you have cumin? I'm serious. Shea Barcola was speechless. Those who didn't know would think that she was the main force. His words were so arrogant, but in reality, he still needed her to clean up the mess. The octopus monster raised its scepter and pointed it at Chen Zhao. Lowly ant, facing me, acre biler, you should show enough respect. The octopus's staff suddenly shot out a beam of fire, striking Chen Zhao from hundreds of meters away. Fuck. Chen Zhao turned around and ran, but the fire still chased after him. Wherever the fire passed, it left a charred ravine. Chen Zhao could only go around the bend and run quickly so that the fire couldn't catch up to him. Kraken, you can't hit me, haha. You just can't hit me. Shea Barcola and the others' jaws dropped. He didn't die from that. This guy's ability to escape was too strong. However, this pursuit was destined to end with this man's failure. Everyone had the same thought. The opponent had only moved his hand, but Chen Zhao had to keep running. However, this wasn't the case. Chen Zhao's endurance was far beyond their imagination. Chen Zhao ran around the stage in front of him again and again. The octopus monster controlled the staff and couldn't attack Chen Zhao at all. Shea Bacola. What are you waiting for? Kill him. Do you want to wait until I'm dead to attack? Chen Zhao shouted. Only then did Shea Bacola realize that she'd actually learned to watch the show. Shea Bacola suddenly rushed to the auditorium, condensed a pillar of lightning in his hand, and shot it towards the Kraken Akri Pilar. Boom! The lightning struck Akri Pilar, but he was unscathed. "And, your pathetic magic means nothing to me." Akri Pilar looked at Shea Bacola arrogantly. Chen Zhao could finally stop and heave a sigh of relief. "Shea Bacola, go. I'll cheer for you." "Mr. Chen, I think you should be quiet and give Shea Bacola some space." "Don't disturb his battle," William said. "I think so too." "I think so too, Mr. Chen." "You should be quiet," Horst and Barbara both said. "Fine, I won't talk." Chen Zhao sat on a roasted karmic bird and started peeling off the tender meat. As he ate and drank, Horst, Barbara, and William all swallowed their saliva. They still didn't have the courage to eat this monster's meat, but watching Chen Zhao eat and drink so much made them feel uncomfortable. "You really don't want some? It's really delicious." "Forget it." William shook his head. They were more concerned about the battle between Shea Bacola and Akri Pilar. They were currently fighting fiercely, but Shea Bacola's attacks were very weak. "Shea Bacola, if you're tired, come down and eat something first. Then we can fight." Hearing Chen Zhao's voice, Shea Bacola was furious. She couldn't stop this battle just because she wanted to. The flame scepter in Akri Pilar's hand constantly shot out scorching flames, which made it hard for Shea Bacola to resist. "Human, do you feel the difference between us now?" The flame scepter in Akar's hand suddenly shone brightly. The scorching flames landed at Shea Bacola's feet. Rumble, a violent explosion blew Shea Bacola into the air. "It's over." Shea Bacola's mind went blank. Akar was really too strong, so strong that she couldn't block it. Just when Shea Bacola thought that she was dead, a pair of hands suddenly caught her. Shea Bacola turned around. It was Chen Zhao. She didn't think that it would be Chen Zhao. Intermission. We'll continue in the next round. Chen Zhao put Shea Bacola on the ground. "Human, you still don't seem to understand your situation." Akar pointed his flame scepter at Chen Zhao. "I think we should have some sportsmanship," Chen Zhao said, shrugging. Shea Bacola stumbled over to Chen Zhao. "Go away." "All right, you can't even stand properly and you're still trying to be brave." Chen Zhao pursed his lips and pulled Shea Bacola away. "I can't." "Can you?" Shea Bacola said in annoyance. Whenever she thought about how Chen Zhao spent most of the time eating and drinking, she got angry. "All right, leave the rest to me," Chen Zhao said. Akar moved to the center of the arena and looked at Chen Zhao. "Human, what else do you want to say?" Chapter 957. You're asking for it. Akray pointed his flame staff at Chen Zhao. A pillar of fire shot toward Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao reached out to block it. Shea Bacola was forced back by the flames and high temperature. She thought that Chen Zhao was dead for sure. The high-temperature flames shot directly at him. Not just Chen Zhao, but even she might not be able to withstand it with her magic protection. But when she looked up at Qin Zhao, she realized that he was still standing in the same spot. The flames burned wildly on his body, but he didn't seem to be dead. Acker stopped his flame staff and stared at Qin Zhao in disbelief. "You're not afraid of hellfire?" Qin Zhao was surprised too. The hellfire indeed made him feel hot, but it didn't hurt. The hellfire didn't seem to be as threatening as skyfire. "My fire resistance is high." Qin Zhao grinned. Horst, Barbara, and Will.i.on were also in disbelief. Qin Zhao looked at his mostly burned clothes and tore them off. Luckily, he left his underwear. Otherwise, he wouldn't even use his clone. He'd be running around naked. That's the warm-up. Let's get down to business. Bang! Acker Byler's tentacles attacked without any warning. Qin Zhao was sent flying and smashed into the wall of the Colosseum. Everyone gasped. Shea Bacola sighed. She'd thought that Qin Zhao really had a chance to defeat Acre with her. But as soon as the battle started and after one round, Acre was instantly killed. But then, Qin Zhao stood up again. "Mr. Qin, are you okay?" Will.i.on looked at Qin Zhao in disbelief. Qin Zhao twisted his neck. "Takoyaki, is that all you can do?" "That's all." He'd been swept by a 30-meter-long tentacle and that was all. This was basically the same concept as being hit by a super truck, right? That's just the appetizer. Acre grinned at Qin Zhao. The next moment, he waved two tentacles at Qin Zhao. Facing the overwhelming attack, Shea Bacola couldn't help but cry out. "Watch out!" Qin Zhao grinned and a sword flashed. Two huge tentacles landed on Qin Zhao's left and right with a boom. With a boom, two huge tentacles landed on Qin Zhao's left and right. Everyone's expression froze as they looked at this scene in disbelief. A bronze sword appeared in Qin Zhao's hand, but he had never shown it before. Where did he hide the sword? The two severed tentacles were still struggling on the ground. Qin Zhao stabbed a tentacle with the bronze sword. This tentacle probably weighed more than 10 tons. But he continued to drag her along. "Fat, tender, delicious, I can already smell the high protein in it." Qin Zhao glanced at everyone. Normal octopus contains 30 times more protein and taurine than beef. I wonder how nutritious the octopus from hell is. Seeing Qin Zhao lick his lips, everyone was speechless. The octopus treated them as food, but Qin Zhao also treated the octopus as food. This was a battle of the food chain. "I'll kill you, bastard. I'm going to kill you." Qin Zhao's actions completely infuriated Acre Byler. Acre's tentacles grew out again, but this ability made Qin Zhao's eyes light up. Acre's recovery speed was very fast. Qin Zhao wanted to see how much he could grow. Swinging his sword, Qin Zhao charged forward. Qin Zhao's attacks were extremely sharp. Each strike would cut off one of Acre's tentacles. But at the same time, he would be sent flying by Acre every time. Right now, Qin Zhao was using his body's resistance to fight against Acre's recovery speed. Both sides fought until the sky was dark and the earth was dark. "Ms. Shea Bacola, who will win?" Shea Bacola stared at the stalemate and shook her head. "I don't know. I hope that Qin Zhao can win. If he loses, we'll all die." Qin Zhao was sent flying again. He smashed a hole in the ground. At this moment, everyone held their breath. They could tell that the force of this blow was extremely great. "Looks like we're in trouble," Shea Bacola said seriously, looking at Qin Zhao's back. "What's wrong?" "That demon's recovery speed is too strong," Shea Bacola said. "Every time Mr. Qin attacks, he can recover in the shortest time possible. But Mr. Qin doesn't have that kind of recovery speed. His resistance is very strong, but every time he's hurt, a part of it will accumulate in his body. Thud, Chen Zhao spat out the blood in his mouth. Acre was indeed stronger than he'd imagined. Acre looked at Chen Zhao proudly. How about it, human? You can't take it anymore. Steamed dumpling, should we stop for a round? You've used up a lot of magic power, right? Chen Zhao smiled at Acre. Acre's expression changed. No one could recover infinitely, and he was no exception. Every time he recovered, he used up magic power. If Chen Zhao cut off a few more tentacles, his magic power would be almost depleted. Shay Bakula's eyes flashed with surprise. She suddenly understood that Chen Zhao wasn't completely at a disadvantage. She hadn't thought this through. It wasn't the first time Acre had faced a monster of this level. This guy was very experienced. Acre took out an hourglass and placed it on the ground. Let's stop fighting until all the sand in the hourglass leaks out, Acre said. He'd calculated that his magic power would completely recover in this amount of time. But as a human, Chen Zhao definitely didn't have as much magic power as him. When his magic power recovered and Chen Zhao was still injured, he would definitely win. Chen Zhao dragged the tentacle to Shay Bakula. Shay Bakula, help me roast it. Shay Bakula was completely speechless. Was it really okay to roast Acre's tentacle and eat it right in front of him? Are you sure you won't anger him? He won't dare to be impudent even if you give him 10 guts. Since you know that his magic power is almost depleted, why don't you persist? Maybe I should work with you. I need to confirm how his tentacle tastes, Chen Zhao said. Just how obsessed are you with eating? Everyone was speechless. What if it doesn't taste good? Then he'll die faster, Chen Zhao said. I don't understand. Chapter 958. Looking at the tentacles and broken tentacles all over the ground, Shay Bakula suddenly understood. Did he do it for the tentacles? It tastes really good. Why don't you try? There's powerful magic in it. You can't eat it casually. Shay looked at Chen Zhao worriedly. Oh, I almost forgot. Chen Zhao rubbed his nose. Achoo, magic allergy. He forgot again that food with magic couldn't be eaten casually. Seeing that Chen Zhao was allergic to magic, Shay Bakula's heart sank. Just as she'd feared, Chen Zhao had magic allergy. If Chen Zhao's condition worsened in a battle like this, the situation would be dangerous. While eating, Chen Zhao rubbed his nose. Barbara, Horst, William, you guys don't want some. Didn't you say I can't eat it? He and I can't, but you can. You can't absorb the magic, so it won't affect you, Shay said. But when she turned to look at Chen Zhao, she realized that he was still eating. Aren't you afraid of death? You know it'll make you allergic to magic, but you're still eating. Delicious. So delicious that you're willing to risk your life. The more you eat, the more serious the magic allergy will be. When I'm in a good condition, I can fight in a good condition. When I'm not, I can fight in a bad condition. Chen Zhao rubbed his nose again. It was red and tears kept flowing out of his eyes. Shay watched as Chen Zhao tore off a large piece of takoyaki and stuffed it into his mouth. This piece was probably 3 or 4 kilograms, right? Her eyes almost popped out. Chen Zhao's appetite was way too big. But she realized that Chen Zhao's right arm kept trembling. Is your right arm hurt? No. But, your right arm keeps, it's allergic too. Chen Zhao wiped the grease off his face and turned to look at Acre Pilar. Let's fight. It's not time yet, Acre said. I say fight, so fight. Acre Pilar was speechless at this repetitive human. Since you want to fight, let's fight. Acre snorted coldly. He had already recovered 70% of his mana, but the other party's rest time was so short, so he was definitely not in as good a condition as he was. Acre Piler returned to Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao raised his right arm and aimed it at him. Shea Bacola looked at Qin Zhao in confusion. What was he doing? Acre Piler didn't understand either. Does that mean stop? Human, since you started the fight, what is the meaning of this? Achoo! His right arm shook violently. Then a magical current shot out of it. Bang! Half of Acre Piler's body disappeared in an instant. At the same time, a circular hole was blasted in the spectator stands behind the Colosseum. Everyone was silent. Their mouths were wide open as they stared at Qin Zhao in disbelief. When in good condition, there would be a good way to fight, and when in bad condition, there would be a bad way to fight. Was that what he meant? Is he the Terminator? Is this guy a modified robot? Horse stared at Qin Zhao in shock. It was too terrifying. This kind of impact. It was like a human-shaped self-propelled cannon. Acre Piler turned around and fled. His injuries greatly reduced his recovery rate. Qin Zhao had blasted half of his body into pieces with a single move. If Qin Zhao had aimed at his main body, he would be dead for sure. But when he turned his head, two black monsters had appeared behind him out of nowhere. Did I allow you to leave? Qin Zhao and the two black guys spoke at the same time. These two black monsters were actually the matriarchs controlled by Qin Zhao. But now, they should be called dark matriarchs. Suddenly, Qin Zhao pounced on Acre from behind and hugged him from behind. Then, he chopped off Acre's right arm. Before Acre's right arm could fall, Qin Zhao had already snatched the flame scepter from his hand. Good stuff. This is really good. Qin Zhao tried to pour in mana. A wave of flames shot into the sky. Ha! This is fun. Qin Zhao started playing with the flame scepter. Everyone stared at Qin Zhao speechlessly. He was in the mood to play with a great enemy. Qin Zhao pointed the flame scepter at his right arm and released the flames. Then the mouth of gluttony on his right arm devoured the flames. Qin Zhao felt that he had reached his limit and stopped charging. Then he aimed his right arm at Acre Piler. Boom! A huge wave of flames exploded on Acre's body. The three tentacles were blown away by the explosion. Recover, hurry up and recover. Out of mana. Never mind, I'll give you 10 more minutes to rest, Qin Zhao said. Acre Piler wanted to cry. He had never seen such a brutal enemy. He was even crueler than a demon like him. Qin Zhao returned to the barbecue stall. Shea Bacola looked at Qin Zhao. She felt that this man was like a mystery. She had no idea what he was going to do next. Weird. Why can't I feel any mana allergy? Qin Zhao had planned to use the same method. But he realized that the effect was much worse. He seemed to have gotten used to Acre's mana. He couldn't absorb it, but it wouldn't cause any allergies. What are those two black things? My former enemy, Qin Zhao said. But I'm controlling them now. The dark matrix was extremely fast. Both of them were on the same level as Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao started to clean up the tentacles and the cooked hidden slither bird. Acre, on the other hand, was planning a counterattack. Qin Zhao was clearly stronger than him. He could feel that Qin Zhao had been playing with him. If Qin Zhao really wanted to kill him, he would have died long ago. Acre began to summon his army. The sound he made couldn't be heard by humans. Ha! Halfway through his meal, Qin Zhao suddenly turned around and looked at Acre. What's wrong? He's summoning his subordinates, Qin Zhao said. Aren't you going to stop him? I think we should give him a chance to struggle. However, a large number of monsters started surging out of the tunnel of the Colosseum. Hundreds of them. There was also the sound of flapping wings. There were also many of them. Large numbers of hidden slither birds and monsters filled the entire Colosseum like an army. Chapter 959. I also think I don't have enough ingredients. A smile appeared on Qin Zhao's face. Shea Bacola stared at Qin Zhao. How much can you eat? You've collected so many ingredients and you still say it's not enough. Qin Zhao looked at Acre Pilar. We can officially start the battle now. Acre Pilar raised his hand. Qin Zhao suddenly shouted, Wait, what? Do you want to surrender now? Can you give me a minute to prepare? Shea Bacola stared at Qin Zhao. What's this guy going to do? Then, Qin Zhao suddenly split into 12. Shea Bacola sucked in a breath of cold air. Doppelganger. Doppelganger was rare, but it wasn't rare. However, it was really rare for a spiritualist to use a doppelganger spell. But, why were the 12 doppelgangers naked? Qin Zhao gave each doppelganger a set of clothes. Only then did everyone understand why Qin Zhao needed a minute to prepare. Go! Qin Zhao ordered. The 12 doppelgangers charged at the same time. The 12 doppelgangers fought against hundreds of monsters and hidden slither birds. One of the doppelgangers smashed a monster's head with a punch. The 12 doppelgangers were shockingly powerful. Qin Zhao didn't go up himself. He dragged a monster's corpse and cut off a piece of meat. Help me cook it. Let's see how it tastes. I'm not your chef, Shea Bacola said with a dark expression. Do you still want the $50,000? You're willing to give me $50,000? With your ability, you don't need my protection at all. You can totally kill your way in and out. Don't think that the $50,000 is for bodyguards. You can also think of it as a temporary chef. This was very hurtful. Shea Bacola thought that she was a professional spiritualist, witch or exorcist. But in Qin Zhao's eyes, she was just a chef. I'll cook for you, and you'll pay $50,000. Of course. I never lie. Shea Bacola used a lightning spell to cook the meat. Qin Zhao took a few bites and nodded in satisfaction. The meat is smooth and tender. The fat content is just right. It's slightly fishy. I need to use seasonings to remove the smell. You didn't come here on purpose to look for ingredients, did you? You wouldn't believe me if I said it was an accident, Qin Zhao said helplessly. Where did you hide everything? There are so many bodies of monsters, but they disappear as soon as you touch them. What kind of magic is this? This spell is called the spell that won't come true if you say it. Ignoring Qin Zhao's nonsense, Shea Bacola looked at the battlefield. The battle was intense, but Qin Zhao's clones started dying. There are simply too many enemies. Your doppelganger doesn't seem to be able to hold on much longer. It's still early, Qin Zhao said, unconcerned. Only one had died. Qin Zhao was not worried at all. You're not going to help. Shea Bacola could feel that there was still a huge gap between Qin Zhao's real body and his clone. However, these clones were still very powerful. If it were her, she probably wouldn't even be able to beat one of them. Qin Zhao's clone couldn't use magic. Therefore, he could not use the mouth of gluttony or the eye of power. Each clone only had about half of Qin Zhao's strength. However, the combat power that 12 doppelgangers could bring was still very high. Qin Zhao was busy cleaning up the corpses of the monsters and hidden slither birds. Shea Bacola saw it all. She didn't understand why Qin Zhao hadn't attacked yet. The rate at which Qin Zhao's clones died was clearly higher than the rate at which the monster army died. If this continued, Chen Zhao's clones would all die before the monster army was completely destroyed. Chen Zhao was still as calm as ever. There were simply too many monsters in the army of monsters. Finally, the last clone was destroyed. By now, Acre Pilar's monster army still had more than half left. Human, you've used up your last trump card. What should you do now? Acre Pilar looked at Chen Zhao proudly. In his mind, he had already imagined how he would torture Chen Zhao after he was defeated. Shay Bacola and the others were anxious. If Chen Zhao had joined the battle earlier, this wouldn't have happened. But it seemed like Chen Zhao didn't care at all. Trump card. You seem to have gotten it wrong. Chen Zhao was still smiling. When did I say that was my trump card? Acre Pilar was a bit wary. Wasn't the clone spell Chen Zhao used just now his trump card? Although he didn't really believe it, he still felt that he had to be on guard. Shay Bacola was also a bit hesitant. She didn't know if Chen Zhao was bluffing or if he really had a trump card he hadn't used yet. To her, 12 clones was already a very shocking move. If Chen Zhao still had other trump cards he hadn't used, she really couldn't accept it. Was the difference between them really so big that it couldn't be made up for? For a moment, Acre Pilar didn't dare to give the order to attack. Instead, he looked at Chen Zhao warily, wondering if he should give up for now. However, he was unwilling to give up. Chen Zhao had humiliated him time and time again. There was a fire of anger in his heart that had yet to be vented. He wanted to take revenge on Chen Zhao. He wanted to torture Chen Zhao to death in the cruelest way. Do you want to rest? Again. Hearing Chen Zhao's words, everyone, including Acre Pilar, didn't know how to feel. Chen Zhao was like this every time. He had to rest every time. And every time he rested, Chen Zhao would play new tricks. If you want to fight, then fight. What's with all this talk? Are you scared? Acre Pilar said tentatively. You want to fight now? Okay, let's fight. Chen Zhao sat down. Seeing this, Acre Pilar didn't dare to give the order to attack. He didn't know what Chen Zhao was going to do. But the next moment, he saw Chen Zhao take out a musical instrument and place it before him. Is this a trump card? What a joke. What kind of trump card is this? Okay, I'm ready. You can attack, Chen Zhao said. Bluff. This guy is bluffing. Acre Pilar and Shay Bacola both had the same thought. Clang, the guzheng gave off a crisp sound. At that moment, Acre was even more certain that Chen Zhao was bluffing. Attack, attack. Kill him. Kill him. Acre finally gave the order to launch the final attack. Chapter 960. Shay Bacola and the others saw that when the dozens of monsters and hidden slithering birds charged at Chen Zhao, he was still sitting on the ground and playing the guqin. They were all extremely nervous and worried for Chen Zhao. In their eyes, Chen Zhao was definitely not someone who pretended to be aloof. From the beginning to the end, Chen Zhao had given them the feeling that he was vulgar. But now, this vulgar person was actually sitting on the ground and playing the guqin in the face of such an attack. What the hell was going on? The moment the monsters reached Chen Zhao, 12 cold beams of light exploded at the same time. Both the invisible hidden slithering birds and the huge monsters were instantly torn to pieces by the beams of light. Their bodies were cut into pieces. The 12 stone swords floated in the air. Chen Zhao's music suddenly changed. The 12 stone swords sliced through the air. There was only a tearing sound in the air. Wherever the stone swords passed, everything was torn to pieces. Everything became fragile and insignificant. When the hidden slithering birds were cut into pieces, their blood dyed their bodies red. The death of the monsters was even more shocking. They didn't know how to face the 12 stone swords at all. To them, it was like a group of people facing a person with a machine gun. No matter how many people there were, they were powerless against a machine gun. The music suddenly became violent. The 12 stone swords also became more intense. All the monsters formed a painting as they were slaughtered and strangled. The 12 stone swords gathered together and formed a circle. Then they started spinning rapidly. This also made them more lethal. They were like rapidly spinning blades or meat grinders. No one had seen this before. The monsters that were supposed to be the slaughterers and torturers were now the ones being tortured. Shea Bacola finally understood what a true trump card was. From the beginning, Chen Zhao had been playing. Chen Zhao had shown great power earlier, but it wasn't aggressive or explosive enough. When he got serious, she finally understood what it meant to slay demons. It was an almost invincible attack. 30 seconds. It was only 30 seconds. Clear the field. The air was filled with the strong smell of blood. Holding the zither, Chen Zhao stood up. The 12 stone swords hovered beside him. The ventilation here isn't very good. You might need to redecorate it. Oh no, you probably don't need to. Acker's body went cold. His monster army was slaughtered just like that. In the past, he thought that with his monster army, he could even compete with middle-level demons. But now, he realized that he couldn't even defeat a human. Chen Zhao seemed to be gesturing with one hand. He gestured to the left, then to the right. Mr. Chen, what are you doing? Cut off the top half, Chen Zhao said. At the same time, he pulled the strings. The 12 stone swords attacked at the same time, and Acker's upper body flew up. He had nowhere to hide, nor could he block. Chen Zhao then took out the flame scepter. A stream of flames shot out and burned Acker's lower half. Only then did everyone realize that Chen Zhao was going to roast all of them. A brick landed on Chen Zhao's head. Chen Zhao looked up. The castle was falling apart. Don't you think we should leave? Run. Chen Zhao charged toward the exit. The door at the exit wasn't even useful to Chen Zhao. It was destroyed by Chen Zhao. The others followed closely behind. When they escaped from the castle, they realized that the entire castle was collapsing toward a point. Not just the castle, but everything around it was shrinking toward that point. The mist was also being sucked in. Everything around it was being absorbed. But Chen Zhao and the others didn't feel any attraction. Suddenly, they heard a sound. The next moment, something crashed into Chen Zhao. Bang! A sports car had crashed into Chen Zhao and he fell to the ground. A woman got out of the car. Chen Zhao saw that it was Sharon. Holding his stomach, Chen Zhao fell to the ground and wailed. "Ah! I'm going to die. I'm going to die." Shea Bacola and the others stared at Chen Zhao, speechless. Could a sports car hurt him? They wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Even the monsters inside couldn't kill him. A mere sports car couldn't hurt Chen Zhao at all. Sharon was also confused. Chen Zhao and the others had appeared in front of her car out of nowhere. She walked up to Chen Zhao and took a closer look. The person wearing only his underwear was actually Chen Zhao. "How come it's you?" Chen Zhao peeked at Sharon and then shouted even louder. "Why are you standing on the road in your underwear?" "I'm going to the hospital. I feel terrible. I'm going to the hospital." Chen Zhao didn't want to answer this embarrassing question. "Miss, we met a robber." "We were robbed," Shea Bacola said as she stepped forward. The lucky survivors, Barbara and Horst, also understood. This was clearly the best answer. Robbed? Sharon realized that they were all dirty. It indeed looked like they'd been robbed. Especially Chen Zhao, who wasn't wearing anything. Ha! You were robbed. I'm dying of laughter. Sharon laughed so hard that she was about to cry. Are you that happy that I was robbed? Lying on the ground, Chen Zhao said gloomily, You're a cop. Aren't you injured? Why didn't you scream? I'm tired. Chen Zhao didn't want to keep pretending. A while later, Sharon called the police. David was the one leading the team. David pulled Chen Zhao to the side. Chen, what exactly happened? You said you were robbed. I don't believe you. Do you remember the mirror space created by the mirror demon? Chen Zhao said helplessly. Last night, when I came back from Las Vegas, I saw a mirror space on the road. I killed the boss of the space and then came out. They're all survivors. What kind of battle did you go through? You even knocked off your clothes. It wasn't smashed, it was burned. That monster can breathe fire. I really want to take the risk with you. Stop it, Chen Zhao said shamelessly. If I were alone, I could easily take care of it. If I didn't have to take care of the three, I would have come out long ago. Actually, I've been learning some supernatural knowledge from Sienna recently. That stingy person. She actually charged me tuition. Okay, send me home now. I've been working hard for the whole night, Chen Zhao said tiredly. Oh, come to my house tonight. I've prepared a lot of delicious food. I caught many delicious monsters in the mirror space this time. I cooked them all. David didn't refuse either. Hearing that Chen Zhao ate monsters, he was also very excited. Okay, when does the party start? Chapter 961. Seeing Chen Zhao return in David's car, Fei Lai knew that his trip had not been peaceful. Hi, Fei Lai. After getting out, David went up and hugged her gently. Fei Lai looked at David's car. Why isn't Chen coming out? Why is he in the back seat? Don't tell me you're handcuffing him. Chen, you're already at the door. Are you still not willing to come out? Chen Zhao finally came out. When Fei Lai saw that he only had his underwear on, she almost burst out laughing. Darling, what happened to you? He was robbed. Him. Robbed? Fei Lai stared at him, her eyes wide. Did God disguise himself as a robber? Darling, I thought you'd comfort me. All right, I've sent your man back. I should go now. After David left, Chen Zhao hurriedly took a shower and changed into a set of clean clothes. Fei Lai, I found a lot of good food for you. Chen Zhao took out the grilled octopus tentacles and slitting bird. You found this last night? Yes, I met someone who was blind, Chen Zhao said. Try it and see if you like it. It's good, just a bit bland. Fei Lai really liked the taste. Whether it was the grilled octopus tentacles or the roasted meat of the sundering stealth bird, both of them were very nutritious. Pregnant women were very sensitive to nutrients. Sometimes, their bodies would instinctively search for nutritious food. Fei Lai was the same. She really liked the taste. I still have a lot of fresh ingredients. Have the underlings cook them again. The underlings also started getting busy for the party tonight. First, there were some snacks. They were already placed on plates. Then, there was hot food suitable for the party. A few days ago, Chen Zhao and Fei Lai had started inviting friends and family. Today, they confirmed again to see if they would come. Stephen, I promise you that you'll be able to eat a lot of new food at the party tonight. That's what you said. If I'm not satisfied, I'll smash your party. As long as you don't want a takeaway when the time comes, you can destroy my place. Really? I can't wait. I want to go now. Don't come too early. I'm not ready yet. It was mainly because he didn't want people to see the inferior demons. Usually, when guests came, Chen Zhao could have the underlings hide, but there were too many things for them to handle today. If the guests came too early, the underlings wouldn't be able to work. All right. At this moment, a car arrived at the door. Eula and Cheryl ran out of the car. Why are you guys here? Chen Zhao was surprised that Yura and Cheryl had come together. Although he had also informed the two of them, they had informed him separately. Cheryl, where are Chris and Sienna? They'll be here at night. Yura and I came over to play first. Alright, you guys go play in the forest first. I'll let Princess and the rest accompany you. Right now, we're still preparing for the party, so it's a bit messy. Feilai came up and gave them 2 portions of roasted food. Bant, Mary, and the Ken family were the first to arrive in the evening. They also brought their own wheat beer. Because they both lived in a small town, the 2 families were very close. They had come early to help as well. You 3, go sit down. You're guests, not mediocre people. Feilai went up to serve them. I can't sit down, Mary said. Chen Zhao and Feilai had no choice but to let her help. Thankfully, everything was almost ready now. The inferior demons had already hidden themselves. Del, Fisher, and Risvar's family had come together. The most tiring part of a party wasn't the servants, but the hosts. This was because the 2 hosts had to treat every guest with all their heart. They couldn't neglect every guest. More and more guests came, and the atmosphere became more and more like a party. All the guests were full of praise for Chen Zhao's food and wine. Stephen put his hand on Chen Zhao's shoulder. Chen, what species is that tentacle? Although it's very small, I can see that the size of this octopus is definitely not small. Of course, a tentacle weighed more than 10 tons. How could it be small? Chen Zhao had only taken out a few tenths of a tentacle. If he took out the entire tentacle, the guests might not even be able to finish it. First, they might not even be able to cook it. It's a deep-sea octopus, a very special species. It's indeed very big. Because it lives in the deep sea that humans can't reach, it's almost impossible to catch. It's not even available on the market. Then give me a few. How many did I give you? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. I asked my friends for help too. A few of them died before I got to. How many died? When they dove into the deep sea, their diving goggles exploded and they died. When they were dragged out, they were like mud. Stephen gasped. It's that scary. What's the other 2 meat? I can't taste it at all. Chen Zhao whispered into Stephen's ear, they're all protected animals. Don't tell others, or I'll be in trouble too. Okay. Wait, you didn't think of this answer to reject me, right? How is that possible? Am I that stingy? With your vision, if it was ordinary food, how could it be hidden from you? That's true. What animal is it? I can't say. Petty. I don't care. I'm going to pack one tonight. I already prepared it for you, Chen Zhao said. This time, Chen Zhao had collected a lot of ingredients in the mirror space on Route 666. He might not be able to finish it even in 100 or 1,000 parties, let alone one. Just then, Leonardo ran over. Mr. Stephen, can I get your autograph? Of course. Leonardo wasn't the only one who asked for Stephen's autograph. Stephen didn't put on airs at all. He didn't reject anyone who asked for an autograph. Play by yourself. I'm going to entertain the others. Go. Don't neglect the others. Stephen often had parties, so he knew that Chen Zhao couldn't keep him company all the time. Regardless of whether the guests were close or distant, since he'd invited them to the party, he couldn't be distant. This was the courtesy of a host. From afar, Chen Zhao could hear Caprice and Ethan arguing. The two still had their old tempers. They would hurt each other whenever they saw each other. Chen Zhao didn't know if the two stubborn old men still had feelings for each other. When Chen Zhao walked over, Wright also walked over. Chapter 962. Wright couldn't be bothered with Ethan and Caprice. But Wright's words stopped the quarrel between the two of them. They looked at each other awkwardly. There was still resentment in their eyes, but they didn't want to argue in front of Wright. Chen, let's go sit over there, Wright invited. Chen Zhao couldn't reject Wright. The two sat on the rooftop. Wright really liked the layout of Chen Zhao's house. After all, it was designed by her great-grandson. It was said that taste could be passed down from generation to generation. So, it wasn't strange that Wright liked it. Chen, you haven't been to school in a long time. Have you forgotten your other identity? How about I go once a week starting next year? No, I'll arrange a class for you next year. You have to teach me for at least a semester. Right, I'm afraid I'm too busy. Wright saw that Chen Zhao wasn't very willing to accept it. She didn't want to force him. But she also felt that it would be a waste if Chen Zhao didn't have a few students with his amazing medical skills. At least your classes will be twice as many as last year. Wright took a step back. You can also teach a few interns. Can I think about it? You have to give me an answer soon. After all, school starts in February. The school has to arrange the classes in advance. I'll give you an answer as soon as possible, Chen Zhao said. Oh, I can't even tell where your food is from or what species it is, Wright said. You don't have some rare animals, do you? Don't joke around. I'm a firm supporter of the Animal Protection Association. Chen Zhao fully displayed his ability to speak in human language and ghost language. Also, the so-called rare animals might not be delicious. Wright didn't continue pestering Chen Zhao. She knew that Chen Zhao had too many guests to take care of. Then, David and Leonardo dragged Chen Zhao to drink. Everyone partied until midnight. Tonight was the welcome party, so the atmosphere was very lively. Therefore, the atmosphere was very lively. Fei Lai couldn't take it anymore and went to rest first. The bell rang at midnight. Chen Zhao lit the fireworks. The entire Mirror Lake was lit up. Everyone was partying and the atmosphere was even more lively. Chen Zhao had found enough chauffeurs to escort his customers home one by one. After all, most of the guests were drunk. Chen Zhao did not want to attend his welcome party today and their funerals tomorrow. All the guests had left, except for Yura and Cheryl. They were arranged to sleep. The inferior demons also began to clean up the inside and outside of the mansion. Chen Zhao took the wine and entered the river map. Happy New Year, Old Turtle. I'm here to drink with you. Old Turtle was Chen Zhao's senior. He couldn't attend the party, but Chen Zhao couldn't ignore him. Chen Zhao and Old Turtle were both drunk. Of course, maybe Old Turtle was just pretending to be drunk in front of Chen Zhao. Old Turtle, have you thought about going out? Chen Zhao asked in a drunken voice. I have thought about it, but I can't get out. This is Lady Nuos by Sima. I don't want to force it anymore, Old Turtle said calmly. If the river diagram is destroyed, can you come out? First of all, the river diagram is an ancient divine artifact. It's not something you can destroy with your mediocre skills. Second, destroying the river diagram will only destroy me too. You can't let me out, but I still thank you. In the middle of the night, Chen Zhao came out of the river diagram and returned to Fei Lai's side. He spent the first night with her. Chen Zhao really enjoyed his current life and treasured it. On the 5th day after the new year, the people of the supernatural organization all returned from Cape Town. Everyone had a great time on this trip. Chen Zhao organized another banquet for them. Most of them were useless, but they were all Chen Zhao's subordinates. Mr. Chen, the main building of your project is finished. You can come and take a look when you have time. I'll go tomorrow, Chen Zhao said. The next day, Chen Zhao brought all the members over. After all, the headquarters didn't belong to Chen Zhao alone. He had to let his subordinates confirm if there was anything that needed to be changed or added. Is this our new headquarters? Mo was still a child. He was the most excited about the new headquarters. Yes, what do you think? Chen Zhao said. Is there anything that needs to be changed or improved? You can bring it up now. Felwood Cisco accompanied everyone. He was very curious about who Chen Zhao's subordinates were. But after looking for a long time, he still couldn't figure them out. Chen Zhao's subordinates were very complicated. There were adults, children, and the elderly. President, I want a shooting range, Cass said. Chen Zhao turned to Felwood. Mr. Felwood, can you add a shooting range? Of course. Felwood agreed without hesitation. Chen Zhao's budget was more than enough. He wished that these people would make more requests so that he could use up as much of his budget as possible. Plus, as long as someone made a request, Chen Zhao wouldn't reject. Even Felwood wanted to be Chen Zhao's subordinate. Chen Zhao didn't even blink when spending money. President, if the artificial lake isn't connected to running water, it'll easily stink, West said. I think we can connect it to a river in the mountains. Sure, Mr. Felwood. Think about which river is closer and then connect it to the artificial lake. There are indeed a few rivers nearby. They all flow out of the mountains. The best way is to bring in water from the Longjing River and then connect it to the Los Angeles River. The water will flow out and become running water. Felwood Cisco quickly came up with a plan. Let's do that. President, I think our association needs to add a helicopter, so it's best to build 2 helipads. Oh, it's also best to build a small runway and add 2 small propeller planes. Chen Zhao thought for a moment and asked, Mr. Felwood, is the budget enough? Yes, a small runway costs about $1 million. It's fine as long as the site is big enough. Mr. Chen's land is very big, so there aren't any other problems. As for the helipad, it's even cheaper. It's just a supplementary construction, so there's no need to increase the budget. Then let's build it. Chen Zhao looked at Cass. Cass, your people all know how to fly planes, right? Yes. Then I'll leave the purchase of the helicopter and propeller planes to you. After you decide on the model, talk to West. Chapter 963. The association had enough funds now. If they didn't use it, it would just rust in the bank. Last year, they still had $2 million left. Even when they sent all of them to Cape Town for 20 days, they only spent $300,000. Funds were meant to be squandered. This was Chen Zhao's philosophy. The association members also had their first meeting in the new headquarters. Of course, the content of the meeting was to tell everyone to work hard in the new year. They had to carry out every mission seriously and increase their strength at the same time. The new headquarters also had its first guests. They weren't members of the association, but prisoners sent to the dungeon by Klaus and the others. They were the people who released the crocodiles in the river outside Mirror Lake. The puppeteer Chainin was also one of the guests. Chen Zhao and the association members visited the dungeon. The environment here was great. At least, it wasn't creepy like before. Of course, the torture tools were much better than before. Chen, our new movie is starting to cast. Do you want to come and watch? Steven called Chen Zhao. I don't know anything. What's there to watch? You're one of the people involved anyway. You have the right to speak. Just come and watch. Okay. Chen Zhao indeed didn't have much to do after the new year. He didn't have any clients either. Other than at home, he only walked around the headquarters. When Chen Zhao arrived at the audition site, there was a sea of people outside. It was a terrifying scene. Chen Zhao estimated that there were at least 300 actors. Steven, I'm at the door, Chen Zhao said. Call someone to pick me up. You're here. Steven said. Don't come in first. Just blend into the crowd and see if there are suitable candidates or actors that need to be eliminated. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Steven was treating him like a laborer. Hey, brother, are you here for the audition too? A curly-haired young man patted Chen Zhao's shoulder. Which company are you from? Air. I don't have a company. No company. Then you don't have a good chance. The curly-haired young man said, I heard that many famous actors from Asia are here for the audition. I heard that Mr. Steven's new movie has a very important role that will be played by an Asian. Mr. Steven also wants to invite actors who are already famous in Asia. Chen Zhao wasn't too surprised. After all, Steven had already told Chen Zhao about this. Steven was also interested in choosing actors from China. What about you? What role are you auditioning for? A villain, a role with a few minutes of screen time, the curly-haired young man said. I'm a student at the Southern California Film School. What about you, Bank? How should I address you? Chen Zhao answered. I'm unorthodox. You're like most of the people here. Banku said, everyone is trying their luck. After all, as long as they act in Mr. Steven's movie, it means that they will become famous, including me. Right now, in Hollywood, Steven was a golden signboard. Not only were his movies popular, but even if he only had the title of an editor, it still had a huge market appeal. Although James had gotten rid of the title of the new director, he knew very well that his ability was far from his current level. Although Animal Mart was an unprecedented success, James knew that if Steven hadn't reached out to help him, he would probably be one of the directors who were down and out. Therefore, he had always claimed that Steven's editing was the biggest contributor to the movie's success. This also caused Steven's reputation to rise to another level. With just one edit, Animal Mart, which had a small budget, became a godly movie. Therefore, people didn't doubt Steven's ability at all. Therefore, his new movie also received a lot of attention. In the past 2 days, Steven and Rasford jointly released the news of a new movie. All the headlines of the entertainment media in America were about Steven's new movie. Some people even dug out the content of the new movie. All of Hollywood was in an uproar. Even the international entertainment industry was in an uproar. The Asian entertainment industry was the most excited. After all, Steven was going to choose an actor from Asia to play a very important role. Of the 3 main roles, 2 were old Caucasians. But there was a male bodyguard, the third one, who was an Asian male. The whole movie was about the Iron Triangle, so the Asian male character became very interesting. This also caused all the Asian entertainment companies to send a list of suitable male actors to Steven's desk for him to choose from. Among them, the reaction from the entertainment companies in China, Japan, and South Korea was the most intense. After all, these 3 were the biggest movie markets in Asia. Among them, the Chinese and Japanese stars should be the most competitive. This was because China was the second biggest movie market in the world, while Japan was the third. In terms of character setting, it was a Chinese. Now, everyone was using their own strengths, trying to help their artists succeed. Chen Zhao walked a few rounds outside and was picked up by Famutis. He also put up the name of Bonko, whom he had met outside, so that he could at least pass the first round of auditions. As for whether Bonko could be chosen later on, Chen Zhao tried not to interfere. After all, as an outsider, if he criticized the movie too much, it might cause the movie to fail. Even though Steven absolutely respected his right to choose, Chen Zhao didn't think he had to use his power. Although Chen Zhao had a China complex, he still let Steven take the lead when it came to choosing actors. If he let a domestic fresh meat play his role, Chen Zhao felt that the movie would be half ruined. So, Chen Zhao would rather let a foreign actor play his role. Chen Ku had been in China for the past few days, because the movie Animal Supermarket that she had acted in was being screened in China. As the second female lead, she had almost the same amount of scenes as the first female lead. This caused Chen Ku's fame to skyrocket in the domestic entertainment industry. China was also her home ground, so the entire publicity team was led by Chen Ku. Even James had to be polite to Chen Ku. Of course, a large part of it was because of Chen Zhao. Steven's editing was definitely indispensable for his movie's success this time. Steven was willing to edit for him completely because of Chen Zhao. So, as Chen Zhao's cousin, Chen Ku's treatment in the crew was no less than the female lead. Even if the heroine complained about it again and again, no one would care about her complaints. Chapter 964. She was hailed as an international superstar after acting in one movie. It was the same in every country's entertainment industry. Actually, this was also a god-making movement, especially in countries like China, which was a second-world country. Chen Ku had now become a star pursued by the whole nation. Originally, Chen Ku was just a rising star in the country, but now, she had become an international superstar. This sudden change in status made Chen Ku feel a little at a loss. A call came in and Chen Ku picked it up. Other than Chen Ku's relatives, the only person who could call Chen Ku directly was her boss, Zhou Xiaonan. Zhou Xiaonan was the boss of Guangyu Culture and she was the one who discovered Chen Ku. From the moment she acted in her first movie, she was recognized by the public. Then, through her connections in Hollywood, she was recommended to James. After acting as the second female lead in James' movie, it was like she was riding a rocket. Her status skyrocketed and she was even given the title of an international superstar. Even Zhou Xiaonan didn't expect Chen Ku's road to fame to be so fast and smooth. Ah, cool. Zhou Xiaonan's tone was unprecedentedly gentle. It couldn't be helped. Although Chen Ku had only debuted for a short time, her achievements far surpassed the other artists in the company. Now, all the other artists in the company had to call Chen Ku sister. She might not be the top actress in the entertainment industry, but in Guangyu Culture, she was the well-deserved top actress. What was a top actress? It wasn't just about making money for the company. Some young stars would only be popular for 1 or 2 years. In 1 or 2 years, they might be able to earn 1 or 200 million yuan for the company. But after 1 or 2 years, they would disappear from the world. To be able to bear the title of top actress, first of all, she had to have popularity and influence. Secondly, it was style. To put it bluntly, it was pretentious. Either she didn't endorse or she endorsed an international brand. The role she took was definitely the #1 role or a main role in Hollywood. Chen Ku now had the capital to do so. She could even get the female lead in Hollywood now. So, Chen Ku deserved the title of top actress. Sister Zhou, what's the matter? Chen Ku asked. Can you give me a chance? I want to meet Mr. James. Chen Ku smiled bitterly. It was this kind of request again. During this period of time, she had received all kinds of calls. There was only one subject, and that was to see Mr. James. Besides wanting to get closer to James, he also wanted to ask James about Mr. Stevens' new movie. Chen-ko also heard about Mr. Stevens' new movie. She had been considering whether she should fight for a role. That was Mr. Steven they were talking about. If she fought for it, she would have a great chance. Not to mention her qualifications and acting skills, her relationship with Hu Jinyao had brought her great benefits. For example, his cousin, although their relationship was not very close, at least they were relatives. James had also said that if she fought for a role, Stephen might arrange one for her because of Qin Zhao. However, Chen-ko couldn't get over herself. She had never thought that she had relied on connections to fight her way into the entertainment industry. But now, she had to use a relative who wasn't even on good terms with her, to get a role. This made her feel very uncomfortable. "Sister, it's not that I don't want to arrange it for you," Chen-kook said with a bitter smile. "Mr. James' schedule is too tight. James would only stay in China for 3 days at most. He would go to the capital, Shanghai, and then Guangzhou. 3 days of promotion in 3 cities. He wouldn't stop for a single moment. Can you help me ask about the casting of Mr. Stevens' new movie?" "Sure, I'll help you." "Oh, help me pass this message. If Mr. James can help our artist get that role, our company is willing to pay any price, even if it's pay or nothing. Not to mention zero pay, they could even pay for it. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." "Sure, I'll help you," Chen-ko said. "But sister, it's useless if it's just me. You have to bring someone to America for an interview too. Mr. Stevens' requirements are very strict. If the person isn't there, he won't choose him no matter how powerful his background is." "Okay, who do you think is suitable in our company?" The character is set to be 28 years old, so there are only 3 people under the age of 3. "Sis, I don't need to tell you. I think you know what to do. You can try out all 3 of them and see who can enter the second round of auditions. Then, you can try to send them in. Okay, I'll arrange for them to go to America. But cool, if you want to attend Mr. Stevens' audition, we won't be able to do it. If they focused all their resources on the 3 actors, they would definitely neglect Shinku. Sister, I have my own path. Don't worry about me, Chinku said. Oh. You have your own path. Zhou Xiaonan was a little surprised. She knew Chinku. She had entered the entertainment industry alone. Her parents were university professors and she had never heard that she had any connections. I might not have any connections in China, but I can still help Mr. Steven. Zhou Xiaonan was shocked. She didn't expect Chinku to be so confident. She didn't have connections in China, but she had connections with Steven. Cool, can you help our company's male actor? Sister, I can't help you with this. After all, I have to fight for a role too, Chinku said. Besides, I need a favor. It'll be used up after one time. Then, okay, Zhou Xiaonan said helplessly. But Chinku's words made Zhou Xiaonan look at her in a different light. She didn't expect Chinku to use a favor to help Steven. Now that Chinku was already very popular, if she acted in Steven's movie, her popularity would soar. By then, she would definitely become the most popular female star in China. Of course, Chinku had her own ambitions. After all, who didn't want to be a big star in the entertainment industry? Chinku thought for a while and called James. Mr. James, I want to ask you, is there a suitable role for me in Mr. Steven's new movie? Yes, the wife of the Asian male character is set to be the wife of a Chinese man, James said. Why, do you want to compete for this role? If you do, then you have a good chance. As long as your cousin is willing to help you, Mr. Stephen will definitely give you this role. This is equivalent to the female lead, right? Will Mr. Stephen give me this chance? Chapter 965. Chen-ku didn't think that her cousin could influence Stephen to this extent. After thinking for a long time, Chen-ku decided to go to America. Wang Lu, after the promotion in China, will go to America. Help me book a ticket to Los Angeles. Chen Zhao was quite relaxed these few days. There was basically nothing for him to worry about. As for Stephen asking him to pick actors, he just went to take a look. Those who were pleasing to the eye would help him mention it. Those who were not pleasing to the eye would also help him mention it. When he got home, Cheryl and Yura were still at his house. The theme of the two of them is always noisy. They also became Jerlin's role models. Every day, Jerlin would go crazy with them. Recently, Jerlin could already run, although she would occasionally fall. Just then, a car stopped in front of Chen Zhao's house. When Chen Zhao walked out, he realized that it was Chen-ku and Wang Lu. But Wang Lu didn't get out. Chen-ku walked up to Chen Zhao. "Cousin. Why are you here?" Chen Zhao was surprised. "Auntie told me that your girlfriend is pregnant," Chen-ku said. "She asked me to bring some Changbai ginseng from China for you." Chen Zhao's eyes brightened. Codenopsis had great nourishing, stomach, and spleen effects. This was especially true for pregnant women, because they weren't suitable for chemical medicines. Chen Zhao would avoid even some nutrient supplies. However, Codenopsis was the best tonic for pregnant women. Because of pregnancy reactions, pregnant women would also have malnutrition and digestive problems. Codenopsis could correct these symptoms. As long as they didn't overdose, pregnant women would be healthier. The effect of Changbai ginseng was even better. After slicing Changbai ginseng, 2 slices of Changbai ginseng could be steamed with bone broth for an hour, which would be very nourishing for pregnant women. Of course, it wasn't good to add too many slices. No matter how good something was, eating too much wouldn't be good. "Thank you," Chen Zhao said sincerely. Changbai ginseng was hard to get even in China, let alone abroad. There were also Changbai ginseng plantations in China, but the effects of the 1- and 2-year-old ginseng were much worse than the wild ones. The Changbai ginseng that Chen-ku brought to him had big heads and long whiskers, and different sizes. This was because of the difference in the soil, so the growth of the rhizome was also different. When he put it in front of his nose and sniffed, he could smell the fragrance of ginseng. These were all collected from the mountains by the ginseng gatherers. Each of them was a precious wild ginseng. Chen Zhao had done some research on Chinese medicine, so he knew about ginseng. "Come in and sit," Chen Zhao said. "Okay." Chen-ku didn't refuse. Chen Zhao glanced at Wang Lu. "She's not coming in." "Forget it," Chen-ku said indifferently. Wang Lu had clashed with Chen Zhao before, so she didn't want to face him. Chen-ku didn't like her either, so she didn't want them to have another conflict. "Hello, Miss Fei Lai," Chen-ku greeted when she saw Fei Lai coming down. "Hello, Miss Chen." Chen-ku took out another box. "Miss Fei Lai, I brought this from China. It's for you." Fei Lai looked at Chen Zhao, who nodded. No matter what the gift was, he would accept it first. "Thank you." Fei Lai returned the favor. She also took out a bottle of nameless wine. "Miss Chen, this is for you. Please don't reject it." After exchanging some pleasantries, Chen-ku left. Right after Chen-ku left, Rupert came. Chen Zhao was very surprised by Rupert's arrival. Chen Zhao and Rupert hadn't been close. At least, compared to Sienna, Chen Zhao only knew Rupert. Rupert looked like a little girl, but she was actually already in her 20s. For the past 20 years, she had been sealed by her mother, who was also her teacher. "Chen, can I stay here for a few days?" Rupert asked. Chen Zhao thought for a moment. "Give me a reason first. Where's your teacher? Why isn't she by your side?" Chen Zhao realized that Camilla, who'd always been with Rupert, wasn't by her side. "She's crazy. She wants to work with Sienna and seal me again." Chen Zhao picked up his phone, about to call Sienna. No, I'll give you money. I'll only stay for one night." Rupert quickly stopped Chen Zhao. "Why do they want to seal you? Did you take on another mission to kill people and rob them?" "No, definitely not," Rupert quickly said. "I don't know why either. Why do you think I'll help you? After all, I'm not familiar with you. I'm more familiar with Sienna." "I can give Fei Lai and your child a blessing," Rupert said. "It's a very special blessing spell." "What kind of blessing?" "Life commendation," Rupert said. "Those who receive life commendation will be free from illness forever. They won't get sick for the rest of their lives." "There's such a blessing spell?" Chen Zhao asked, surprised. "Of course," Rupert said proudly. "I'm a genius." Chen Zhao had heard from Sienna that Rupert was a second night awakener, so her talent in magic was very high. "This spell can't be cast so easily, right?" Chen Zhao said, squinting. "That's none of your business. Just accept it or not." Rupert's words weren't clear, so Chen Zhao didn't dare to agree. If Sienna had suggested this, Chen Zhao would have gladly accepted it. But Rupert had never been reliable and her personality was also rather extreme. Before Chen Zhao could confirm the safety of this blessing spell, he wouldn't accept it. "I promise you that there won't be any danger or side effects." "I still refuse," Chen Zhao said. "If you can't explain yourself, I'll tell Sienna directly." "You asterisk shoal, I shouldn't have trusted you." Just then, Chen Zhao's phone rang. Rupert saw Sienna's call on his screen. Rupert turned to run, but Chen Zhao's hand was already on her shoulder. "Hey, Sienna, what's up?" "Chen, is Rupert at your place?" "Yes," Chen Zhao said. "Did she say something to you?" "Not much yet, but I'm curious what you guys want to do. Since she went to find you, you should protect her well. Can you tell me what happened?" Chen Zhao asked. "It's okay." Sienna hung up. Frowning, Chen Zhao looked at Rupert. "Tell me, what's going on?" Chapter 966. "Rupert, why are you here?" When Cheryl saw Rupert, she was a little surprised. "You can come, but I can't." "That's not what I mean." "That's what you mean." Rupert stared at Cheryl aggressively. "That's what I mean." "What do you want?" Cheryl wasn't someone anyone could bully. Especially because of Sienna, she and Rupert weren't on the same path. "Do you want to die?" Rupert was about to use magic to scare Cheryl when she felt a murderous aura from afar. Chen Zhao, who was sitting in the front yard, shot her a murderous look. Rupert immediately restrained herself. "Little wolf girl, be careful next time." At noon, the family sat at the table for lunch. Rupert and Cheryl stared at each other with hostility. If Chen Zhao wasn't here, the two might start fighting each other. "I hope that in my home, in my territory, the two of you will behave yourself. I don't want Amon to take you out to sea for a spin. As long as she doesn't mess with me, I won't do anything to her," Rupert said. "I'm not afraid of you." Cheryl was stubborn too. Rupert immediately slammed the table and stood up. "Do you want to fight?" "Sure. Why would I be afraid of you? Come on, let's fight." Fei Lai didn't mind at all. She liked liveliness and kids fighting. To her, it was normal for kids to fight. Usually, it was just her, Chen Zhao, and a bunch of animals at home. Now that there were a few kids, the house became lively. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Jerlin was the most excited one. She kept calling out as if she was going to fight. Chen Zhao knocked on the table. Have you already forgotten what I said a moment ago? Cheryl and Rupert parted on bad terms during lunch. However, they still fought openly and secretly in places Chen Zhao couldn't see. As long as they didn't fight, Chen Zhao didn't care. Mr. Stephen, I want to audition for the role of the Asian man's wife. Chen Ke entered the audition set and approached Stephen. Although they were all auditions for roles, famous actors were different from ordinary actors and actresses. Famous actors could meet Stephen directly, and Stephen would personally interview them and make a decision. Most actors had to go through layers of screening, and they might not even get to see Stephen in the end. Ha! Stephen looked at the information that Chen Ke handed him in surprise. Does Chen know about this? Stephen asked. Chen Ke thought to herself that her cousin's position in Stephen's heart was really high. His first question was not to ask himself about acting, but to ask his cousin. I don't know, Chen Ke answered. The character is based on your cousin, Stephen said. Chen Ke's heart skipped a beat, but she remained calm. It's just a role in the movie. It has nothing to do with reality. That's true. Compared to other actors, you have an advantage in this aspect, Stephen said. Of course, he would not casually decide on an important role, and Chen Ke did have an advantage in this aspect. First of all, she was Chen Zhao's cousin, so she would definitely come into contact with him. Moreover, she had her own fame, acting skills, and the China market behind her. They were all above average. They had also worked together once before. Although it was very short, Stephen still had a good impression of Chen Ke. Actually, the role of an Asian man's wife could be played by either an Asian or a Western woman. It was not completely confirmed yet. A more professional evaluation was needed before a decision could be made. What's your salary? Stephen asked. $2 million. This salary was considered the level of a second-tier star in Hollywood. Compared to Stephen, this was indeed a good deal at a low price. Stephen thought for a moment and said, Personally, I'm more inclined to invite you to join the crew, but I can't give you an accurate answer yet. Okay, Mr. Stephen. I understand. I look forward to your answer. This script is part of your audition lines. Take it back and study it. I'll notify you for the second audition in 3 days. Whether you succeed or not, I'll give you an answer. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Actually, with Stephen's words, Chen Ke was already 70% confident that she could get the role. After Chen Ke left the audition room, Stephen picked up the phone. Hey, Chen, do you know that your cousin is here for the audition? Oh, she's here for the audition. Chen Zhao was somewhat surprised, but it seemed to be reasonable. Yes, she's auditioning for the role of your character's wife. She's not suitable. No, she's very suitable, Stephen answered. Oh, if you think she's suitable, then use her, Chen Zhao said. Okay, then it's settled. Stephen actually already had a plan. He gave Chen Ke the script not to see if she was suitable, but to evaluate how many scenes she could get. Actually, the main characters of the movie were 2 old men and an Asian man. To put it simply, it was a drama for men. Chen Ke was auditioning for the female lead role, but in terms of scenes, she was only a supporting actress. However, probably no female star in Hollywood could reject the role of the female lead in Stephen's movie. When Chen Ke walked out of the set, Wang Lu walked up to her. Ah, Ke, how was it? Not bad. Ah, Ke's lips curled into a smile. She might not be 90% confident in the audition, but she was at least 70 to 80% confident. That's good. Before they could take 2 steps, they saw a car stop beside them. Zhou Xiaonan was leading 3 people out of the car. Sister Nan. Chen Ku looked at the 4 in surprise. She did not expect to meet them so coincidentally. Zhou Xiaonan was also surprised to see Chen Ku here. Sister Ah Ku. The 3 actors were all older than Chen Ku, but when they saw her, they all called her sister. This was very common in the entertainment industry. Experience meant everything. Ah Ku, why are you here? I just finished the audition, Chen Ku said. Oh. You auditioned. How was it? I'm not sure, Chen Ku said tactfully. Just then, Chen Ku's phone rang. Zhou Xiaonan found that Chen Ku's caller ID was Steven. She actually had Steven's number. Hello, Mr. Steven. Miss Chen, after the evaluation, my team and I have decided to sign the contract with you. You might have to come again tomorrow. I'll prepare the contract then. Okay, Mr. Steven. Thank you. Chen Ku and Steven's conversation was overheard by the people around them. Chapter 967. They had heard that several A-list Hollywood actresses were competing for the role. But they didn't expect Chen Ku to get it. By now, everyone's expression had changed. She was going to play the role of Steven. And it wasn't a supporting role, but a main role. This meant that Chen Ku was one step closer to becoming a superstar. At first, Zhou Xiaonan had thought that Chen Ku had said that she had her own connections to protect her reputation. But now it seemed that she had underestimated Chen Ku's connections. After all, Zhou Xiaonan was the head of an entertainment company. She knew very well how complicated it was to choose a main role in a movie. It was a game that concerned the company and the exchange of interests. It wasn't a role that could be obtained by selling one's body. Forget about Hollywood, just look at the domestic entertainment industry. Some actors relied on unspoken rules to get a role that wasn't popular. But the main role would never rely on unspoken rules to get a role. Ah Ku, the 3 of them are here for the audition too. Why don't you take them to see Mr. Steven? Sister, you're making things difficult for me. What a joke. She had just gotten the role herself. Taking 3 irrelevant people to see Steven. She wouldn't dare to do such a thing even if she ate a bear's heart or a leopard's gall. It would leave Steven with a feeling that he didn't know when to advance or retreat. And the director hated actors who didn't know when to advance or retreat. Zhou Xiaonan knew that her request was a little too much. But she couldn't do anything about it. After all, her connections were all in China. When she came to Hollywood, her connections were of no use at all. Now that she had brought 3 male actors, she could only submit their resumes to Steven's studio. Although it was an arranged audition, Steven wouldn't be doing it himself. Instead, it would be done by several assistant directors. These assistant directors only had the power to send them to the next audition, but they didn't have the power to decide whether they would stay or not. Of course, the 3 male actors she brought this time were also of a certain standard. Li Qingyang, 28, used to be a popular male idol in China. After his popularity gradually declined, he changed his profession and took on many roles that tested his acting skills, but he had never returned to his peak. Wang He, 27 years old, was still a popular newbie. He was extremely popular in the country and was also the company's money-making king. Even Chen Ku had to concede defeat to him. Zhang Mao, 26 years old, had won the Best Supporting Actor award at a local film festival. His fame and popularity were not high, but his acting skills were the best. As this was a Hollywood audition, popularity in the country was basically useless. Therefore, the 3 of them were considered to be on the same starting line. Then, Zhou Xiaonan brought them to the set. The first round of auditions was very easy, and the three of them easily passed. Actually, the first round was not really an audition. As long as one had some aptitude, it would not be difficult for them to pass the first round. The second round was a makeup audition, and the third round was Steven's personal audition. After leaving the set, the three of them relaxed. Don't run around. Go read the script when you get back to the hotel and prepare for the second round of auditions the day after tomorrow, Zhou Xiaonan said. Got it, Sister Nan. When the three of them returned to the hotel, Wang He was the first to be unable to sit still. Qingyang, let's go for a walk. But Sister Nan doesn't allow us to wander around randomly. Have you already prepared your script? Why can't we walk around? We're not kids. Wang He had come from a wealthy family since he was young, so he could not sit still in the country. As long as he was not working, he would go out to drink and have fun. There were no reporters taking pictures of them overseas, so he was even more carefree. But we're not familiar with Los Angeles. I'm familiar with it. I've been studying here for 4 years. Then where are we going? Li Qingyang asked. Call Zhang Mao. I'll bring you to a high-end restaurant. It's the favorite restaurant of Hollywood celebrities. Oh. You're saying that we might have a chance to meet a Hollywood star. It's possible. When I was studying, I came here a few times and met one. Then what are we waiting for? Call Zhang Mao. The two of them knocked on Zhang Mao's room door. Li Qingyang said, Zhang Mao, let's go out to eat. Ah. Didn't we just eat not long ago? Just now, the hotel provided food. I didn't eat much at all. Is that for humans? I'll bring you out for a good meal, Wang He said. Zhang Mao was soon convinced. The three of them left the hotel together, hailed a cab, and headed straight to Marina Restaurant. Wang He, can we really meet a Hollywood star at Marina Restaurant? That Marina Restaurant was originally opened by a Hollywood star, Nafa Twain. Fuck, Nafa Twain. Nafa Twain. I really like his movies. Then if we go to that restaurant, can we meet Nafa Twain? How would I know? I've never seen him in person. When the three of them arrived at the entrance of the restaurant, they realized that there was already a long line. Fuck, why are there so many people? Watch me. Wang He walked up and stuffed $100 into the waiter's hand. Hey, can you let me and my friend in first? Sorry, no. Please line up, the waiter said coldly. Wang He's expression froze and his expression turned ugly. He had wanted to show off in front of Li Qingyang and Zhang Mao. But he ended up getting slapped in the face by the waiter. However, he quickly calmed down. After all, this was not China. The three of them could only line up obediently. Why don't we go to another restaurant? Wang Mao was the least famous, so he took the initiative to ease Wang He's awkwardness. No, let's go here. I told you to bring someone for a good meal. That's the restaurant's rules. I've gotten used to staying in China and forgot about the rules here, Wang He explained. Since we're overseas, let's follow their rules. Don't embarrass our countrymen, Li Qingyang said. However, at this moment, an Asian man who looked like them walked past the line and went straight to the front of the service counter. Then, that person spoke a few words to the waiter at the service counter. The waiter was very respectful to the Asian man. After a few words, the Asian man walked straight into the restaurant. Seeing this scene, Wang He was instantly enraged. If everyone did things according to the rules, he would not have a single word of complaint. But why did others get to go in first while he had to line up here? Was it because he was not rich enough? Or was it because his status was not high enough? Chapter 968. He's the boss, the waiter said, rolling his eyes. Wang He blushed, but the next moment, he realized something was wrong. Wait, isn't the boss Mr. Nafa Twain? Mr. Twain is the second shareholder, and that Mr. Chen is the biggest shareholder. Wang He returned to his seat silently. He started regretting bringing Li Qingyang and Zhang Mao here. He felt like he'd lost all his dignity today. He'd come to someone else's restaurant and questioned why the boss could enter. Wang He's heart skipped a beat. Is the boss from China? He asked. Yes. Is there a problem? No. Finally, it was the three's turn. They entered the restaurant. Wang He knew that many Hollywood celebrities couldn't buy Marina's restaurant even if they wanted to. Since that person could buy shares of Marina's restaurant, he either knew Nafa Twain or was very powerful. Perhaps he could get to know him and expand his Hollywood connections. Of course, even if he couldn't help him, there was no harm in getting to know another friend. After the three sat down and were about to order, Wang He saw Chen Zhao walk into a private room. Wang He made a mental note of that private room. The food here is really good. These are lobsters imported from Australia. Every year, there's a quota for Australian lobsters. North America's quota is less than 20,000. We're lucky today. This should be the restaurant's new batch of lobsters. If we weren't lucky, we'd have to make a reservation to eat Australian lobsters. It's really good, but it's not cheap, right? You guys eat first, Wang He said, standing up. I'm going to the bathroom. The private room Chen Zhao walked into was the largest in the restaurant. He'd called all the members of the association over and treated them to a meal here. Klaus, why is your waist bulging? President. Klaus pulled up the corner of his shirt, revealing a submachine gun. Fuck, you brought a submachine gun to eat. Did you want to bring a grenade? Chen Zhao cursed. President, I brought some. Klaus took out the 3 salted eggs he'd brought with him. Fuck you, do you want to blow up my restaurant? Do you have more? Take them all out. Klaus and his 5 team members all took out the firearms they brought with them. They were all embarrassed. In fact, when they received the notice to gather here, they thought that Chen Zhao was going to do something, so they were all fully armed. Only now did they realize that Chen Zhao was going to treat them to a meal. Plus, this was Chen Zhao's restaurant. Everyone took out their firearms and placed them on the table. Chen Zhao suspected that all 6 of them had spatial rings. All kinds of firearms, grenades, and sabers were found on the 6 of them. Klaus, if you blow up the president's restaurant, I think you should consider going to Africa to mine, West to East. Klaus enjoyed working in the supernatural organization, even though he and his team members were considered newbies in this field. However, as they gradually got used to the paranormal missions, they began to like it. Also, the treatment they received in the supernatural organization was many times better than what they had received in the anti-terrorist operations department. Chen Zhao gave them benefits every other day. Moreover, Chen Zhao was the most protective. Although he usually seemed harsh, he would always step forward at crucial times. Just then, the door to the private room opened. Wang He walked to the door and saw guns and grenades all over the table. Chen Zhao even had a gun in his hand. Wang He peed his pants on the spot. He stood at the door, not knowing whether to go in or out. Is this an arms trade? Wang He wanted to turn around and escape, but Klaus was quick to react. He pulled Wang He in and locked the door from the inside. President, do you know him? I don't know him. Throw him down from here. Wang He wanted to scream, but his mouth was covered tightly by Klaus. Ha! Everyone burst into laughter. Okay, it's just a joke. Let him go. Chen Zhao waved his hand. Don't talk nonsense outside. Klaus finally let go of Wang He and patted his chest. Remember, don't talk nonsense. Cold sweat poured down Wang He's forehead as he nodded repeatedly. He felt that he might have barged into an arms trade. Wasn't that how arms trade was in movies? Luckily, these people didn't plan to kill him. Wang He walked out of the private room in cold sweat. He felt like he couldn't even stand properly. Then, he urged Zhang Mao and Li Qingyang to leave. The two were having a good time eating when they were dragged away by Wang He. They were naturally reluctant. But they saw that Wang He's expression wasn't right. He returned to the hotel in a state of shock. Wang He, what's wrong with you? You look like you've seen a ghost. I accidentally ran into an arms trade with a gang. Wang He's face was pale. Don't joke around. Do I look like I'm joking? Did they find you? Yes, I was almost killed, Wang He said. Wang He said, but the party who made the deal should also be Chinese. They probably let me off on account of us being from the same hometown. Should we call the police? Call the police. Do you want to die? This isn't our country. It's America, Wang He said, panicking. Will that gang come looking for trouble with you? I don't think so. If they wanted to kill me, they could have killed me on the spot. But this incident made Wang He tone down a lot. For the past 2 days, he stayed in the hotel like a good boy and didn't even dare to step out of the hotel. It wasn't until the day of the second round of auditions that Wang He left. He headed to the set to prepare for the second round of auditions. Yo, isn't this the people from Guangyu culture? You guys are here too. Zhou Xiaonan and the rest raised their heads and saw that the person who had arrived was actually Huasher Entertainment's vice president, Li Changyu. Behind him were 2 male actors. These 2 male actors were definitely A-list actors in the country. Their popularity, appeal, reputation, and even acting skills were not something the 3 people behind Zhou Xiaonan could compare to. Seeing these people, Zhou Xiaonan's expression turned ugly. Li Changyu and his people were practically crushing Zhou Xiaonan and her actors in every aspect. Move aside, don't block the way. At this moment, a voice came from behind. Everyone turned around and saw an Asian and a Caucasian. When Wang He saw them, his expression changed. Chapter 969. Li Changyu looked at Chen Zhao. The first thing he saw was the tags on Chen Zhao and Ban Ke's necks. Just like his 2 actors, he was here for the audition. However, the difference was that both of them had white badges and were auditioning for ordinary roles. From a side character to a 4th or 5th character. The people that Li Changyu had brought along were the main characters for the auditions. This is not a place where you should go. You should leave from the side door, Li Changyu said in a condescending manner. Chen, let's go through the side door. Ban Ke did not want any conflict. These people clearly had their own companies. On the other hand, Qi and Chen Zhao were untrained actors without any background. If there was a conflict, they would definitely not have the upper hand. On the other hand, Wang He took the initiative to pull Zhang Mao and Li Qingyang, making way for Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao walked over, but his shoulder purposely bumped into Li Changyu's shoulder. Li Changyu was knocked to the ground. What are you doing? Barbarian! Li Changyu was furious. This time, it was Chen Zhao's turn to look down on Li Changyu. He said coldly, if you want to show your temper, you better go back to China. Don't embarrass yourself outside. Barbarian! You're the one who's embarrassing. I'll get Mr. Stephen's staff to kick you out. Chen Zhao pursed his lips. He knew most of the people in Stephen's studio. If he could really kick him out, Chen Zhao would admire him. Ban Ke was a bit worried. Seeing Chen Zhao's tough response, he was worried that both Chen Zhao and himself would be kicked out. It wasn't easy for him to get into the second round of auditions. Although it was just a small role, he didn't want to lose this opportunity. When the two of them entered the audition venue, the atmosphere inside suddenly became serious. There were already many actors in the second round who were performing for the assistant directors. "Chen, I'll go up first," Ban Ke said. "You have to work hard." "Okay, you too." Just then, Zhou Xiaonan brought Wang He, Zhang Mao, and Li Qingyang over. They also sat beside Chen Zhao and Ban Ke. Then, Li Changyu and two other male actors sat not far away. When Li Changyu looked at Chen Zhao, his eyes were somewhat unfriendly. Li Changyu glanced at the assistant directors in charge of judging not far away, then stood up and walked over. "Hello, Mr. Reeps." "Hello, Mr. Li. What can I do for you?" Lippies had been to China a few times, so he had some friendship with Li Changyu. Moreover, some insider information about this audition had also been passed to Li Changyu through him. It was precisely because of Lippy's cooperation that Li Changyu felt that this audition was in the bag. Although Lippy's wasn't the final decision maker, he still had some say in the matter. "Mr. Lippy's, that person is an evil person. I suggest you kick him out." Li Changyu pointed in Chen Zhao's direction. Ban could notice Li Changyu's actions and immediately became nervous. "Chen, they seem to know each other. Will we be kicked out?" "No," Chen Zhao said calmly. "Prepare yourself. Don't think too much." Wang He also noticed Li Changyu and felt sorry for him in his heart. Hopefully, Li Changyu wouldn't anger Chen Zhao and die on the streets of America. This guy was definitely a gangster. He might even be an arms dealer. Lippies also saw Chen Zhao. He knew who Chen Zhao was and what he was doing here. Kick Chen Zhao out. What a joke. He would be lucky if Chen Zhao didn't kick him out. "Mr. Li, I don't have the right to kick anyone here." "Sorry," Lippy said. "It's going to be your artist's turn soon. Get ready." Li Changyu didn't expect Lippy's to be so disrespectful. Filled with resentment, he returned to his chair. Chen Zhao looked at Li Changyu and gave him the middle finger. This infuriated Li Changyu. Finally, it was Ban Ke's turn. Chen Zhao patted Ban Ke's shoulder. "Relax. As long as you perform at your usual level, you'll definitely be able to do it." If Ban Ke could perform at his usual level, he would be more than enough to play a small role. As long as he performed at his usual level, Chen Zhao would speak up for him even if there were other actors of the same level. But if Ban Ke couldn't perform at his usual level, Chen Zhao wouldn't speak up for him either. After all, if he wasn't good enough, Chen Zhao couldn't keep telling Steven, "This is my friend, that's my friend." By then, the entire movie would be filled with substandard actors. This wasn't what Chen Zhao wanted. Plus, he'd invested in the movie himself. Ban Ke was very nervous when he went on stage. Seeing the four assistant directors taking notes, he felt that they might be recording his mistakes. He became even more nervous and couldn't help but look at Chen Zhao. He and Chen Zhao had met outside the set. Actually, he'd taken the initiative to meet Chen Zhao in order to gain some confidence from Chen Zhao. He felt that being with an outsider could make him more confident. Chen Zhao furrowed his brows and gestured at Ban Ke to cheer him on. Ban Ke took a deep breath and began his performance. But then, he gradually got into the groove. His eyes and expressions were all on point. The four assistant directors below the stage nodded slightly. Ban Ke only heaved a sigh of relief when he got off the stage. Ban Ke advanced to the next round of interviews. The next round will be in 5 days. Be prepared, one of the assistant directors said. Ban Ke's performance wasn't good at the beginning. But he made up for it very well. They'd seen this happen many times. Some newcomers with good acting skills were nervous during the audition. This was understandable. It wasn't a competition anyway. It was fine as long as the actor had a certain level of acting skills. Lee Chang-yu kept staring at Qin Zhao, his eyes filled with resentment. In his opinion, Lippies didn't kick Qin Zhao out directly, but he'd definitely make things difficult for Qin Zhao after he went on stage. Finally, it was Qin Zhao's turn to perform. Qin Zhao walked to the front of the stage. "I'm auditioning for a sleeping kidnapper." Qin Zhao started to close his eyes, imagining himself dozing off. "Good. Very good performance." "Yeah, very good. Your acting is very good. You've advanced to the next round of auditions." The 4 assistant directors all had the same tone, praising Qin Zhao endlessly. Lee Chang-yu's eyes almost popped out. He asked the actor beside him, "Wu Hao, did that guy act well just now?" I think so," Wu Hao said. "Look at the 4 assistant directors. They're almost praising him to the heavens." Acting was a very subjective thing to begin with. Some people might think the same scene was good, while others might not. It was impossible to tell. Chapter 970. Chen, congratulations. Ban Kot stood up and hugged Qin Zhao. Qin Zhao chuckled. He'd gotten in through the back door. He couldn't be happy at all. However, Qin Zhao still gave Lee Chang-yu, who was furious not far away, the middle finger. Lee Chang-yu's face was filled with anger. He gritted his teeth and glared at Qin Zhao. After Qin Zhao and Ban Ku left the set, Ban Ku said goodbye to Qin Zhao. Lee Chang-yu looked at Qin Zhao from afar and took out a phone. "Mr. Seeley, I want to ask you for a favor. Is that okay?" "Who are you?" "I'm Lee Chang-yu. We met at the banquet yesterday and exchanged phone numbers. Have you forgotten?" "Oh, you're that Chinese guy." Seeley remembered. "That's me," Lee Chang-yu answered. "Tell me, what do you want me to do?" "I want you to help me find a few people and beat up one person." "Ah, you know what I do for a living, don't you?" Seeley said. "I'm with Mr. Mo," Lee Chang-yu said. "I've heard about your job. Then you know that my fees are very high, right?" "No matter how much it is," Lee Chang-yu said. "Tell me, who do you want to beat up?" "He's also a Chinese. His name is Qin Zhao," Lee Chang-yu said. "Qin Zhao." A person's face suddenly flashed through Seeley's mind. He remembered clearly that he'd met a Chinese guy almost a year ago. But later on, a big boss appeared to protect that Chinese man and even threatened him. But after that, Seeley Dirk investigated the Chinese man. He realized that the guy was only a university professor and an illegal doctor. Seeley Dirk guessed that this person must have some sort of relationship with the big boss. But the big shot probably wouldn't protect him all the time. Of course, after that incident, they didn't have anything more to do with each other, so Seeley didn't plan on taking revenge. He just didn't expect that someone would come to him again to deal with the Chinese guy. Seeley thought for a moment and said, "What's your price?" $10,000, Lee Chang-yu said. He knew 1 or 2 people in the underworld in the United States, so he had heard of some prices. "Mr. Lee, are you joking with me? Do I look like someone who needs that kind of money?" Seeley Dirk said angrily. Perhaps it would only cost him $10,000 to beat someone up, but since the other party called him, it was not a problem that could be solved with $10,000. The other party offered $10,000 to humiliate him. What an insatiable American. Lee Chang-yu was dissatisfied, but he didn't show it. "So, Mr. Seeley, what price do you think is suitable?" "At least $100,000 US. Li Changyu felt a little heartache. $100,000 was not a small amount. I hope you can catch him and bring him to me. I want to humiliate him face to face. That's a markup. 200,000. 200,000 it is. Li Changyu gritted his teeth and agreed. Chen, how did you feel at the audition? Stephen called Chen Zhao. Boring and annoying, Chen Zhao said bluntly. It's fine. The next one should be more exciting. You'll be the main examiner too. There's a next one. The next one is the last one. It's an audition with makeup. Okay. Remember, it's in 3 days. Got it. After hanging up, Chen Zhao planned to go to the headquarters. Just then, Chen Zhao realized that 2 unfamiliar vans were following them. The road to the headquarters was very remote. Normal people would not come here. It was Li Changyu's first time participating in an operation like this. A group of local gangsters had come out to beat someone up. He was also very nervous. The gangsters in the vans were all shouting or smoking. Li Changyu already regretted participating. Even if he had to find someone to beat that person up, he did not have to do it himself. Fuck, why does this yellow monkey have to come to this godforsaken place? Just step on the gas and drive over. When I catch him, I'll break his limbs. Li Changyu broke out in a cold sweat. He had wanted to vent his anger. But now, things seemed to be getting out of control. If these hooligans beat someone to death, what would he do if he was involved in a murder case? America was different from China. In China, he might be able to cover it up with his connections. But here in the United States, his connections were completely useless. Although he knew a few people from the underworld in the United States, if he was in trouble, they might not help him. It was also possible that he wanted to take the opportunity to blackmail him. But looking at these vicious gangsters, he wanted to cancel the operation, but he did not dare to say it, afraid that they would beat him up. Just then, the car in front stopped. A very unique and technologically advanced building appeared in front of them. Li Changyu had a bad feeling when he saw the building. Were these gangsters planning to fight here? He got out of the car and saw the 2 cars behind him stop. More than 10 gangsters got out. Then he saw Li Changyu get out. Chen, you didn't expect this, did you? Li Changyu threw his previous fear to the back of his mind and looked at Chen Zhao proudly. Chen Zhao was speechless. Were the people who started companies in the entertainment industry all stupid? Were they doing too well in the country? Did they think that they could use this kind of method everywhere? Didn't they know that there would be endless trouble if they got involved with gangsters? Even Chen Zhao had kept his distance from the gangs in the past year or so he'd been in America. That was because gangs were the symbol of trouble. If it was not necessary, Chen Zhao did not want to deal with gangsters. Just because of a small conflict, he actually hired a gang to cause trouble for him. This Li Changyu was either out of his mind or he was an idiot to begin with. What did you think of? Chen Zhao looked at Li Changyu. Are these your friends? Ha! The gangsters laughed. Yellow monkey, don't you understand the situation? Let me teach you what's going on. Whoosh, 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 suddenly, there was a whistling sound in the air. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the sky. Helicopter. Was there a helicopter here? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.